Hi.
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 Welcome to Why Are We Like This? I'm Ashley, she, her, and today I have 3 new voices with me. I have Twitch streamer and content creator, and also the co-host of the Slayer Fest 98. He did Rivalry coverage.
Joe Organa, he, him. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
And I have our crafting queen and someone that my partner refers to as the copy-paste version of me.
Katie Silver.
And then I have the owner of Culture Clash Records and dear friend of Katie, and now me.
Hi, I'm Lizzie, she, her.
And we are here to talk episode 5, All Believe in Anything. There's a lot to cover in this episode.
So much.
So I've been starting these episodes off with just asking everyone, like, if there's general, overall series thoughts that they want to say.
I mean, my gosh, is like every aspect of the show is so like thoughtfully, intentionally, lovingly, expertly crafted. Like it's just so incredibly good. It's more than I ever could have hoped for in this adaptation. And I'm grateful to live in the same timeline.
Yeah, because you were a big fan of the books before the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on board with that. This was such an incredible series, and I listened to the audiobooks a while ago, so I hadn't really remembered anything because I'm just a big consumer of queer romance novels. Because I have a drive, and I just love feeling represented, and a place to feel represented really is novels as a queer person. So I do tend to lean into that kind of stuff. And so I had been waiting for the show, and it really hit me over the head because the books are so well written, but the TV show is adapted in a way. They could have adapted these novels in such different ways. They could have made it, really just smut. They could have made it, really light and airy. They could have made it really dark, but they took the best parts of the novel and they highlighted it through this series. They made it art. They told an incredible story. They still left in the sexy parts, but they heightened the emotional parts. Like with a novel, it's so easy to get into like deep emotional explanations, and you can often lose that with television adaptations or movie adaptations because there's just not as much time.
Yeah.
But this show did such an amazing job making the important emotion that this story tells, it really shined on screen. They did such a great job with a very limited amount of time, and honestly, it was so beautiful. It was truly like I just watched episode 5 again probably for the 5th or 6th time to get ready for this episode, and I cried again, like twice. So it was such a great show. It's truly a piece of art hanging in the Louvre.
Yeah.
Hanging in the Louvre.
Yeah.
Next, get Mona Lisa off the wall. She's been up there for too long. Replace her.
Her time is up.
Yeah, really.
Time for an upgrade, baby.
Yeah.
Kind of jumping off what Joe and Lizzie both said. I read the books first only because Lizzie would not.
Insisted.
It was like 2 days before the show dropped, and she was like, you get me. You have to read these. If I'm on this level, you're going to be on this level too. Like, you just have to be there with me. And I was like, okay. And obviously they were perfect. And what's scary is we've seen so many like book to TV or book to film adaptations just go so poorly, especially with things that you find very precious and like amazing stories and amazing characters. I didn't want this to, I'm going to say something controversial here. I didn't want this to turn into another Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Say, Katie.
Where, it's like, it feels like Hallmark and cheesy, and that's not how the book read at all, So I definitely was scared, and as we all know, it was perfect in every way. Casting, execution, like just writing, perfect. So
yeah, agreed.
I'm with you. I'm a snob, and it met my expectations and far exceeded them. So hooray.
Yeah. Well, should we dive in?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. So we start off in Shane's apartment. The alarm's going off. He opens his eyes and Rose is getting ready. And she's like, hey, I have to get back to my hotel for my pickup. And he's like, okay, so listen, about last night. And she's so good. She just like sits down on the bed and she like touches him to give him some comfort. And she's like, it's fine. And he says, I think the season is just stressing me out more than usual. And she's like, sure, let's do dinner this week. Just the two of us. And she kisses him goodbye, and it's just like a perfect little preview of what we're about to get from them because she is just the best and I love her so much.
She's so sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet. And I love like Shane staring up at the ceiling, like
Yeah.
not doing good. It's a really nice contrast to other times that we see him staring up at the ceiling in bed.
Yeah. The music kicks in and we get this little like Instagram scrolling scene and we see like all the typical comments, right? Like, why is this picture 3 hours long? So, some of us weren't emotionally prepared for this. There is one where it says like, post one photo, the entire fandom feral. And I'm like, that's basically this whole show. Like anytime that either Hudson or Connor posts anything, the entire fandom is like,
Yeah.
It's just so perfect.
Yeah. I love the username Yeehaw too. I saw that there was a Yeehaw username. Very cute. And then the one comment that I really loved was like, Shane looks like he would carry her bags, her hopes, her dreams, and her entire life. And I was like, oh, he does all of that for Ilia.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. There's so much like
so sweet.
It felt so real because I think especially like maybe I've just met Lizzie and Katie here, but I think we are all probably part of fandoms a little bit, at least aware of it. And I think you can see when you're a little too deep into it, you can see a little bit of some delusion and some assumption in the comments, maybe that are based on the media that the actors are in. And like we've seen that with Connor and Hudson. We've seen exactly. We've seen like a lot of assumptions and we've seen people jumping to conclusions and writing their own stories based on the media in the show. And it's really weird to see it like happening here on screen to Shane, because I saw one of the comments was like, oh, the way he looks at her, it's real or something. And I was like, ooh, babe, no, that was just a click of a camera at a moment where he was looking at her, and like behind the scenes, he's struggling, and he obviously does care about her, but just not in the way that you're reading into.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just really like makes you think about like all these people commenting on social media and like putting all of these unreal thoughts onto these poor people who are just stars or celebrities or content creators or whatever. It makes you think. It's weird to see it reflected in real life and on the show at the same time.
The projection is so like perfect.
That's exactly the word I was going to say. There's a lot of projection happening.
And I love that like those comments are so perfect because you can tell that the writer and the people making the show, like they get it, like they're one of us. This is like for us by us type of shit. I love it.
Yeah. True. And then we get the like hard cut to the same post and the same comments on Ilia's phone. I put, on a little phone in the hands of a heartbroken Russian. He's in the airport. He's torturing himself. And Marley walks up with coffees. And I love his like, top of the morning. You get any sleep last night? And Ilia doesn't say anything. And he says, you're a fucking beautician. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even what is that supposed to mean?
That's just hockey bro talk.
No idea.
Is it maybe like he's assuming he didn't get any sleep and he looks really, really good? Like, how did you make yourself look so good this morning? Because you didn't get any sleep.
That makes sense.
Maybe.
That's kind of how I took it.
Okay.
But
yeah.
it's such a quick line. It's hard. It's hard to catch, like, what is he even saying? And then you slow it down. You're like, oh, I think it's just because like, like you were up all night screwing girls. You should look like shit, but you look really good.
He got
What's
some
your
sleep.
skincare routine?
Yeah.
Drop it.
Fell asleep with Shane's Instagram open on his chest, I think.
Yeah.
I love Ilia's airport outfit.
The airport outfit's nice. He always looks good in an airport.
Nice.
He does.
Yeah, he travels well for sure.
Anytime he's wearing like all black too, it's like black on black. It's like really, it's
really
nice.
Yeah.
And I like that we get to see his sambas.
Yes.
It's really on point.
Yeah. So he gets up and they start to board and we hear the little podcast start up. Welcome to Man on the Crease, your one-stop hockey shop. And we learn that the upcoming All-Star game is going to be in Tampa. And we get this spliced with like Shane is on like the rowing machine again. But he really works out a lot of his stress on that rowing machine. And we hear the like all of the information that we need for this coming up scene through this podcast here, where they're talking about like the Major League Hockey fans are getting what they've always been asking for, East versus West, which means that Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanoff will be playing on the same team. And then they're like, who's centering who in Florida? And where does Scott Hunter fit in the mix? And I'm like, they're like, remember that Scott Hunter exists. You guys don't forget about Scott Hunter.
Yes.
Put him in the montage.
Yes.
I mean,
Show him running like Phoebe Buffet in New York City.
oh my God.
In the
Please.
same outfit.
In the same outfit, yeah.
My favorite.
They're like, just pull a clip from that other episode and drop it back
Perfect.
in.
Honestly, that's fine.
It's so good.
And they're talking shit about Scott again on this podcast. They're like, is he going to
Poor
keep up
Scott.
his red hot pace? Or how do we put this kindly? Crash and burn like he does halfway through every season. I'm like, these guys are dicks to Scott Hunter.
It works.
So rude. So rude.
Poor Scott.
Respect your elders, okay?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
These opening montages in this show, like, incredible.
Mhm.
Like the craftsmanship, the way that these are put together, it's so tight and gets everything across that we need to know. It's just like the leading up to the title card, every single episode, I'm just so impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I really cannot get enough of it. It's so good.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So then we see Shane entering the restaurant. And we cut to the end of the dinner immediately. The server takes their plates, and Rose is like, you are so cute. And he looks down and blushes, as he does not know how to take a compliment from anyone, but especially not from a woman.
Yeah.
That's not his mother.
Yes.
I know, right?
But let's be honest, he pushes back against the ones from Una, too.
Yes.
True. And thank God she said that, because it's what I was thinking as well. It's like, oh, wow, look at this man in this lighting.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like she's immediately like sitting down with this conversation and that comment. It feels like to me, she's immediately trying to shift their dynamic from romantic to friend.
Yeah.
Because like that's something you say to like a brother. That's something you say to like a gay friend. You're so cute. You know what I mean? Like she's immediately trying to like soften the vibe, soften him up, make him feel more comfortable as well, because obviously this conversation she's intending on having with him is a more difficult one, or at least an uncomfortable one.
Yeah.
So it's Rose is really, like she said, she's done this 80% of the time with her boyfriends, so she knows what she's doing. She's not, this ain't her first homosexual rodeo. And it shows. She's experienced and she's doing a great job, and she's the ally anyone could ever want. Truly.
Yeah, you're so right about that, though, because even if you are talking to someone that you're romantically interested in and you say you're so cute, there's going to be different body language than what she has right now. And so there is like a wall between them in this scene until she reaches forward and takes his hand.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, you are. And Miles is extremely jealous. And he's like, of me? And she's like, no, of me. And he just kind of like stares blankly for a few seconds and then goes, oh.
I'm confused why he's confused.
Pretending.
Yeah.
Wasn't Miles kissing his neck in the previous episode?
He's like,
Figure it out, Shane. Figure it out.
Is Miles? That's so weird.
Weird. I felt his boner press up against my butt. But that makes sense now, I guess.
I had not considered it.
Let's be real. In that scene, Shane had no idea what was happening. His brain was with Ilya and had no idea.
I mean, in the book, though, like he's very much processing, like Miles is cute. I'm attracted to Miles. I think Miles is attracted to me. So I don't buy for a second that he hadn't thought about Miles being gay. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's cute that he pretends, though.
Yeah.
But Rose, meanwhile, is like, I'm not buying shit. She's like, I'm not allowing that. And that's the thing, watching this conversation again, I took away from it was like, she was very forward and she was not going to take no for an answer. She's like, I clocked your tea, sweetie. This is safe and I'm going to push forward. And like with someone like Shane, that's necessary because he's never going to give away that information willingly. Even if he's safe, even if it's the best thing for him, he will not give it up. And for her to not back away and be like, I'll let you stay in your bubble, I think was the right choice for Shane. And I think that goes to show you how well Rose figured him out, which not many people do because he is on the spectrum, right? So a lot of people probably have trouble understanding him and his social peculiarities, but it goes to show Rose is meant to be in his life because she's a great friend. and she was the right person at the right time to help him along with this journey. So he was very lucky to have found Rose, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are
totally.
like little platonic soulmates for sure.
Yeah. I love how like she's so steady and so persistent
Mm-hmm.
and patient in this conversation, just like the way she guides him through. It's so beautiful. And I think also there's a moment where, like she's the one kind of pressing and pushing the conversation forward, but there's a moment where he goes like, what? Like, what do you mean? And you can almost feel that like he wants her to ask a little bit. Like he can kind of tell where she's going with it. And he's like, yeah, I want this to happen. I want you to ask me this question. I want to have this like opportunity to, confide in you and be understood.
He's like, if I'm going to tell anybody, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
Like, I need a little help getting there.
Yeah. There's like a little shift there where he's like, what? And you can tell that he kind of like wants this from her. And it's really so sweet.
And that's the what is really what like resets her too. I think she can pick up on that as well. Cause like they go through the whole, like, does it surprise you that Miles is gay? And he's like, no, I mean, of course not. And she's like, well, not a lot of a lot of actors are, they're just not all out. And then she starts going into like, are there any gay hockey players? Like, I mean, obviously there are, but are there any that are out? And I love the detail of her, like, she keeps leaning back, like trying to like exude coolness, but then like as she continues to talk, she like nervously sits back up, and then she'll sit back, and then she's like, and so I'm just, the body language is just so good in this scene.
Yeah, you can see her like resolve to be more direct, and then she like leans forward, and that's when she reaches across the table and like holds his hand.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what an angel! I'm gonna cry now.
I'm gonna keep a counter of how many times Lizzie gets emotional during this, because it will be many. Our Pisces queen.
That's valid. So she says after the what, she's like, I don't think that I'm going about this the right way. And she reaches up and takes his hand, and she says, I really like you, Shane. And he's like, I like you too. But the inflection on the end there, it makes it sound like a question. And she's like, but I have a feeling that maybe I'm not doing it for you. And he's like, yes, you are. And she's like, I know you like talking to me, but do you like kissing me? And he says, sure. And her face of like, wow, bud.
The way she says, wow.
Yeah. It's so good.
Every girl's dream.
Yeah, right?
Sure. It's great.
And he like puts his hand on his face, and like he's like, oh, that's not, of course I do, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, don't apologize. I just have a feeling, and maybe I'm completely off base here, but maybe you'd rather be kissing Miles. And he just immediately tears up. And this is when I noticed the eye contact stops. He like cannot look at her, and she like reaches over to comfort him and is like, it's really okay. And he's like, it's not, I like you a lot. I like talking with you, I like being with you, I like all of it. And she's like, all of it? and he's like, I know the sex stuff is a problem. And she's like, it's not a problem. A problem is something that you can fix. We're more like a square peg in a round hole. Ew, no, I'm sorry. Forget I said that. And so this is the scene that I made it to in the books before this episode came out. And I was like, oh, now this isn't going to hit as well because I read it already. And I had watched the show before reading the rest of Heated Rivalry. So I was like, I'll stop. But when I read this line, I was like, oh, that's so cringe. I don't think I like that. But the way they do it in the show, I was like, this is cute.
Yeah.
This scene made me laugh so much this time around because he goes immediately from like, no, we can make this work to actually I'm a bottom.
Yeah.
Like in the span of 2 seconds. I'm
So
like,
quick.
oh, period.
Yeah.
He's like, no, please.
Yeah.
Which just shows like how much he trusts her too.
Yes.
Just like the bond that he has with her from sitting down in this dinner to just being like, I'm on a date with my mommy girlfriend. And then that turning into just
Every
like,
gay man's dream.
my mommy girlfriend. And then it just turns into him being like, oh yeah, I take it in the ass. Like just from point A to point B, like how we got there, just like the amount of trust that Shane must have in her
Yeah.
is noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah. But we get this little section where he is just kind of like processing everything, and he's trying to say something, but he doesn't know what he's going to say. He's like, I think, and a weird little connection that I made is that every time that he's trying to like figure out what he wants to say about his feelings, he starts with, I think, and then at the cottage, both David and Una say, I think we thought, and I was like, so this is a family thing.
Cute.
But I love that she's like, hey, you don't owe me an explanation. And he's like, I feel like I do. And she's like, you really don't. I'm like, I love her so much.
I know.
Yeah.
They're both such angels because she's like, you really don't. And he's like, but I do. And she's like, but I don't. And
Yeah.
he's like, but I do. And it's like, oh, they love each other.
Yeah. And the whole time he's got tears in his eyes that just won't fall. It hurts.
His acting in this scene is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
So then she asks, can I ask if you've ever been with another guy? And this is when he looks her in the eye again. And then we cut to the shower scene with Ilia, and he nods. And she's like, have you ever told anyone that before? And he just shakes his head no. And she's like, well, was it different with a guy? And we see the stairwell kiss. My heart. And he smiles, and he's like, of course. And she's like, was it better? And we see the Nashville room, 1221, where Shane is like shoving Ilia against the wall with like his hands in his hair, and he smiles, and he's like, yeah, it was better. The thing is, and then his like pause where he puts his hand on his mouth is like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I kind of prefer being the hole rather than the peg. Right. And she cracks up appropriately.
Right.
Shane is funny, you guys.
Yeah.
He is. He's really
so
funny.
And she's like, that's the best thing that any gay boyfriend I've ever had has ever told me. And then she's like, I went to theater school. 70% of my boyfriends have left me for guys. And he's like, 70%. She's like, actually 80. I'm like, you've bumped it up, Shane. You have skewed the data.
The way he says 70%, his voice is so animated. It's so cute.
Yeah. And she's like, well, you should follow Miles back on Instagram. And he's like, no. And he's like, I mean, not no. I just need to sort some things out. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You've got some things to sort, bud.
It's quite a
When
euphemism.
internally he's like, no, zero interest.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But yes.
And then he's like, that was rude. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashley, you were saying like, when he like can't make eye contact and he's nodding and shaking his head rather than using his words and everything. And like the way that Hudson portrays his autism in this scene is really just so specific and so well done. As an autistic person myself, I feel very seen in this. And I also love that like the way that he does explain to her and clarify, like, he says like, I kind of prefer to be the hole than the peg, right? Which again, objectively insane thing to say, really funny thing to say, but like he does feel the need to clarify and explain. Yeah. And I love that he uses her language to do that. He's like, I'm going to call back. I'm going to use the way that you said that. Like, honestly, it's really perfect communication. Like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
He has gotten his point across. He's communicated to her. He's given her the explanation that he feels like he owes her. And it's super funny, but it's also, again, good communication. I was very proud.
Yeah.
Very proud of my son.
Yes. She's like, I was kidding about Miles, but he totally would, like, in a heartbeat. And he just smiles for a second. And then you see this flash of anxiety, like, just a short, brief flash. And he's like, you haven't said anything to him, right? And she's like, no, and I never will. And I'm like, because she's amazing.
No, she's like the perfect ally. Like, it's exactly what you need from a female friend as a gay man, when you're coming out or whatever. She answered everything correctly. She did everything right. It's actually really heartwarming because I think if someone didn't know the story and was coming into this for the first time, your immediate reaction to Rose is to be upset because, she's in your mind, she's breaking up the boys, but she's not, it's not her fault, obviously. But for then her to be like the complete opposite and actually be such a strong, like, base for Shane to go back to Ilia. Like, she's really the foundation for him coming out and finding comfort within himself so that he can go to Ilia and express himself like he does in this episode. So she really was that. She's kind of like a huge moment for him in his life, that person. And it was really so beautifully done because they could have done so many things with that character. They could have made her bitter or angry or not upset or like hurt or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm sure maybe if this character was a real person, there would be some part of her that felt sad, but that's completely natural. But she's
Yeah.
also smart enough to know that, he was confused and he needed that support more than she needed it in that moment. And that's such a great ally. That's such an understanding, intelligent, emotionally intelligent person.
Yeah.
And that's why the women in the show, they're so intelligent. Like, we also get a lot of Svetlana in this episode, not to jump too far ahead, but I was just thinking about it a lot, like with Rose and Svetlana being such big parts of this episode. It was just like, they're such, they don't get that much screen time, but they feel like real people. They feel so well-rounded. They feel so dynamic. They feel so smart. They feel so necessary to the story. And I love that they weren't just thrown in there as side characters, like can often be done in queer storylines.
I really love how they fleshed out Svetlana for the show.
Yes.
Oh yeah. But I'm sorry, book Svetlana's a dud. Like they don't cover her as much when she does that. It's not as intellectual, or it's not. I don't know. She's just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't flesh out the relationship like you said. So it's really nice to see.
Kind of like to what Joe said about the women in this episode in particular, like that's part of what I love so much about this show is that it's a romance, but and the books too, the importance of friendship is there in this. The foundational importance of having somebody that knows you and loves you and reflects herself back to you, makes you love yourself better through their eyes, makes you more brave because of their love and support and total acceptance. Like that is such a huge part of life. And I think so many romance stories leave that out or just don't really cover it in this way. And I think to show, especially in this episode, the way that these two like besties of our main characters are so supportive, are so there, you can see the way that their influence progresses the story, progresses the relationship for Shane and Ilia, makes them braver with each other.
Yeah.
Oops, I have to stop because I'm going to start crying.
You know what I'm saying? I can see it brewing. There it is.
It's because I'm looking at you.
Well, I think it's just, it comes down to just like the need for human connection, like on any level. And they show us too, it's like the lifestyle that they both have, it can be really lonely. And I don't want to draw back super, I'm gonna throw back to episode 4 really quick. But just like the moment where they're on the couch right before they, start going at it before Shane leaves, the moment you can tell where it's just like where he leans into Ilia because he's just so touch starved too, because like, especially in between in the later years, like he's not getting that from anywhere else, not even just like someone stroking his head or a hug or like, just like that moment where he leans into him and you could just tell like his whole, like he just relaxes and just feels so comfortable and at ease. And I think it's just bringing it back to just human connection, just feeling anything, that love.
Yeah.
That was such a theme of this episode. Like if you think about it, like almost every scene was about support and like lack thereof, or finding it in new places, or having it, because we have the support from Rose, we have the support from Svetlana, we have a lack of support from Ilia's family, we have the support of what else happened in this episode?
Shane supporting Ilia.
Right. And Ilia supporting Shane when Shane was in the hospital. There was so much about like finding support, like, and probably episode 4 was about having a lack of it and like trying to, come to terms with that. And then 4 is like, or 5 is finding it again and building that foundation of support and how important it is in a relationship. It really was the major theme of this episode. And it's such a great show to rewatch over and over again because you learn so much about it.
Yeah.
Every time you watch it.
Yeah.
I still pick up, like I'll watch a scene. Gonna say a lot about me. I'll watch a scene 50 times. And then on the 51st watch, I'll be like, holy shit, like I didn't like you can watch the same thing and think about it a million different ways every time you watch it, but then there's still like a new emotion or a new like
this
moment.
is like the type of media that I love where it's so dense, there's so much there's so much to process that like it is rewarding to keep watching it over and over again.
Like a game.
Not to like bring it back to Heartstopper, but to bring it back to Heartstopper, it's very similar in that way that you...
Surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I know. It's like a million Easter eggs all the time.
Yeah. Constant. So we wrap this scene up with them like on the street. They're talking. She's like, "Let's be friends." No, I mean like for real friends, not just some "let's stay friends" bullshit. And she's like, "You're secretly one of the funniest guys I know." And he's like, "Well, that's secret. You don't have to keep." And she's like, "Oh, I will tell everyone." It's so good.
Rose Landry, Shane Hollander's funny truther. You love to see it.
And we get that line of, like, I have a feeling that there's not a lot of people you can talk to about, you know, all of the other things and stuff. And he's like, things and stuff can be tricky for me. And she's like, basically, like, you're never going to get rid of me. And gets in her car. And I love his little, like, wave goodbye to her car when it starts to, like, drive off. I'm like, he's the emotional roller coaster he just went on through this dinner.
Yeah.
Is insane.
And his little smile after the end,
Yeah.
too. When he's just like, I told someone.
Yeah, I did it.
I have a friend.
It's so sweet. She's like, I'm going to text you all the time. He's like, you better.
Yeah.
Or no, he says, promise.
Yeah.
It's his first, like,
promise.
like bestie that he can, like, obviously there's Hayden. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's sports besties, you know, like, his, whatever. But, like, someone he can just be, like, 100% authentic with.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a romantic partner like Ilia, you know.
She's also the only one that knows outside of Ilia.
Yeah.
So, like,
he gets to be this, like, open, sweetheart, angel baby
exactly.
that he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's also a major relief to him. He no longer has to be in this fake relationship that he's not really feeling. And that's a lot of work to be in a relationship with someone who you're not really romantically bonded to, and
especially something so public.
Yes, right.
Too, you know, like that in general is super hard. And then having everyone's eyes on you the whole time, watching your every move and like scrutinizing.
He's got so much pressure, and like
Mm-hmm.
he's masking all the time. He's closeted. He's got so much pressure to like represent, you know, being an Asian Canadian, and for him to like have this relationship where he just like gets to be himself. It's got to be such a massive relief, and it's so like. It's a relief to watch him relax into that.
Yeah. It's also got to be a huge relief because as difficult as it is to be in a relationship with someone you're not really feeling, to be in a relationship with someone you're not romantically feeling, but that you do love as a person, and you're like, am I going to lose them if I end this? Like, how bad are they going to get hurt? You know, and so for her to be the one to initiate it and then for everything to go the way it went has to be just a deeper level of relief for him.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rose, for telling Shane that he's gay.
Yeah. He needed to hear it.
He wasn't sure.
Someone had to.
Somebody had to do it.
Someone had to be like, baby, you're not bi. This is it.
Yeah.
You really tried.
You really don't like me like that. It's fine. It would break my heart, but it's fine.
So then we go to Ilia's house, and we like enter his bedroom through the hallway, and we can hear that they're watching hockey, and Svetlana is like just complaining nonstop about this Colorado team, and that they have, you know, they put good Russian players on second shift of the power play so that mediocre Canadian players can waste a minute and a half with the man advantage. And Ilia's like, Matheson? Mediocre? And she's like, yeah, and you can fucking quote me. Which I
She's
love.
so snarky. She's so, like, I love her.
Yeah. So good.
They gave her so much personality, or she gave the character so much personality, you know? So, gosh.
And he brings up, like, oh, I'll tell him when I see him at the All-Star game. And she's like, ugh, embarrassing that he's playing. And we get this line of, the people voted, they love him. And she's like, the people are wrong, which we'll come back to at the end.
I love it.
But she says, so you're playing on the same team as Hollander this year, right? And she, like, obviously at this point, she knows. But her body language when she says that, like, she even tenses up a little, like, so you're playing on Hollander's team, right? And Ilia is so excited at the prospect that she might be about to talk shit about Shane Hollander. He's like, his little side eye is like, ooh. And he's like, is he also mediocre? And she's like, no, he's amazing. And those hands, and he's gorgeous. And he's like, ugh. Like, instantly, like, great. And he says, if you say so. And Svetlana looks at him like, girl.
It really is a girl moment.
There's so many.
Yeah.
She is rage baiting his ass. She is like throwing that bait in the water, hoping to get something out of him.
Well, she knows him better than anybody.
Yeah.
Ever,
she at least has her deep suspicions about him and Shane.
Yeah. She's fishing for more info.
Oh, absolutely. She wants to know. She
Yeah.
wants to. She
She's
wants
like,
it.
how will he react to this?
And we've already seen her asking questions in the last episode about Jane.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, you guys weren't subtle with those names.
No, not at all. They're like comfort with one another, their banter, like the way that they make this lifelong friendship so believable.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's like, what? Because she's staring at him and she's like, you know he's gorgeous and you know he's good. And he's like, I'm going to ignore the gorgeous comment, but I will admit he is very good.
He's all right.
And she says, I would love to see you play on a line with him. I'm like, I bet you would, Svetlana. I bet you would. And he says, I'm not sure he can play wing. And she's like, but you can. And his face.
How dare you?
Me. You would have him center. Me? And she says, the people would love it. And he says, the people are wrong. And I love his
Okay.
pounce that he does on her. The WWE
elbow drop.
like, yeah. So adorable.
It's a childhood bestie little
Yeah.
wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cute.
It's so cute.
Like, they'd be brother and sister if they weren't like fucking. That's the relationship that they have, though. It's like you
Yeah.
can tell it's just like it's brother and sister like love and affection and banter and everything. Except there's just the hey, we're both single and really hot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, like if you're that hot, like why
Yeah,
not?
might as well.
Right.
we have the ingredients. Let's
Yeah. Bake some up with
What else are we doing?
And he lays down in her lap, which is also super cute. And she's like, I wonder how many outfits Rosalind will bring. She has such good style. And Ilia looks like he wants to fucking scream.
He looks so sad.
Brutal.
Poor baby. It's so sweet with his head in her lap, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
He's a lap dog. You love to see
It's a
it.
lap dog.
Yeah. I feel like she's trying to get him to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to rage bait him out.
That was another dig to get him to open up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any kind of, can I get some rage? Can I get something?
Yeah, something.
Any kind of reaction.
You know she felt his body tense
Yeah.
on her lap, like the moment.
His cheeks clenched.
Yeah.
Cheeks clenched.
And I think that's such a beautiful way to show how well she knows him because she's giving him all of these opportunities to say something if he wants to,
Right.
while keeping it kind of jokey and playful if he doesn't want to.
Right.
You know, I think that's such a good way to play it.
It's similar to the scene we had right before this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the exact same setup here, except Ilya's not giving her anything because he is still so reserved and so closed off
And hurt. He's so hurt right now.
Yeah,
and
he's so
hurt and
sad.
hurt, obviously. But it's just like the best friend, probing and being like, "Hey, do you want to tell me something?"
Because you
very
can.
cute. It's a cute parallel, I think,
It's
but
really sweet.
it just went two different ways.
Yeah.
God, I love that scene. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah. So good. So then we cut to 2017 Tampa All-Star Game. And Ilia is at the bar, this hotel bar, in his Hawaiian shirt, which looks phenomenal on Joe right now.
Thank you. Wanted to get in the spirit. Yes.
I was hoping you would say that.
Yes. It was very intentional.
So he's sitting there having a Corona, and he looks around and he sees Shane come in, and he takes a big deep breath. He mouths, "Okay, here we go," and he downs
that beer.
Downs the rest of it. Yep.
Because he wished he wasn't wearing that shirt.
Yeah. Yes.
Still my favorite part.
Mhm.
It's my favorite part from the book is just his inner monologue. That's just he looks so good, and I'm in this stupid shirt. I'm
I know.
trying to be cool.
A little glimpse of insecurity from Ilia. It's really cute.
So good.
I also need to say, in this show, I love that they drink the drinks and eat the food. Again, Thank you. That's such a pet peeve of mine in most things.
It was weird to me that the beers were served. They looked warm and they also didn't have a lime. It's a
I
Corona.
said that. I was like, they're
Canadians.
just raw dogging Coronas out
I
here.
know. I'm like,
Raw
this is Florida. What are we
Lime.
doing?
Yeah, it's in Florida. It's
They'll do it. They'll do it in the end of the episode too, when Ilya's teammates are on the couch and they're, they all have their Coronas, not a lime in sight, and they all look warm.
No,
They have
thank you.
limes in
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah, literally.
Apparently not in Boston, Canada.
And Shane floats into this. He's floating on his way down.
Mhm.
Is his white
Yes.
number?
He looks so good.
You had to hit it.
Oh, night
He was
and
like, this is my walk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you.
Yeah. It just glides down.
He does, and he sits down next to him, and the waiter's like, "Can I get you something?" And he's like, "I'll have the same thing as my teammate, please," which I think is so cute. Like, he could not wait to say that.
He's so
Exactly.
innocent.
He was so
They've
ready.
always wanted to play next to each
Yeah.
other, and so he's just like, finally.
Yeah. And Ilia is like, yeah, another round, and he looks down at his hands, takes a breath, and Shane is like smiling this entire time and like not really sensing the turmoil that Ilia is exuding right now.
Poor Shane. Shane just does not pick up on social cues,
No.
which I mean, I guess makes sense. He obviously struggles with that sort of communication, but like this whole conversation and Shane's reaction reminded me so much of his conversation with Rose, where he's just not picking up those social cues at first. And the whole time, Ilia is like bringing up Rose over and over in different ways, in different contexts.
Like over and over and over.
And over. In the same way Rose is bringing up, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay. She has to say 8 different ways. It's the same thing here. And it's just so funny that Ilia just at the end had to be like, are you and Rose together? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Did you bring anyone with you? No, I left my parents at home. That's not what I'm
Yeah,
exactly. He's like, did someone dress you? Like, again, nothing. So he just had to be direct in the end, and it just makes me laugh.
4 different ways.
Shane is such a strong character, right?
Yeah.
Hudson really knows who he is, and he really shows it on screen consistently. It's pretty good.
Yeah. This is also a very subtle way of letting us know that Shane ended up being captain, because he's like, so what, are they out of ginger ale, captain, after he orders the beer? And Shane says, I'm feeling a bit wild, which made me think of Scott and Kip, and Scott being like, oh, so you're a bit wild, huh? And I was like, I love all these little tie-ins between them. There's a lot of parallels between those two couples.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I love that he says that too. Like, he's a man on a mission.
Yeah.
I really love to see it.
Yeah.
He is free, and he's trying to spread his wings a bit.
Yeah.
In the most...
It's like Operation Get My Man in Tampa.
Yeah. Literally. And I know Svetlana's dying that he's captain. I know she was gagged.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that she has let Ilia know many times how she feels about it.
Well, and at least I can't remember if they specify in the show, but in the book, it's like the fans vote on who the captain is. So, it's what the people want.
Makes sense.
So Shane's like, so this should be fun, huh? I've always wondered what it would be like to play on the same team. And Ilia's like, you would? Or like, have you? And mind you, this whole time, Ilia has been looking straight ahead. He has not looked over at Shane. And Shane is like, yeah, I have. It's nice that it's in Florida this year, right? And Shane was so ready to bring up this Florida callback, and his little disappointed face when Ilia doesn't look at him and is just like, yeah. He's like, you were supposed to remember that.
He's like, I don't care about Florida. Did you bring anyone with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally.
And one concern.
Yeah. But Shane, like, you could see this moment of like frustration too after the disappointment when the waiter hands him his beer. He takes like a frustrated drink of it because he's like, he's giving me nothing. He's like, I'm trying to flirt. But you're right. Ilia's just like, I don't want to flirt right now. I need information from you. And he finally turns and looks at him and says, did you bring anyone with you? And that's when Shane's like, no, my parents thought about coming, but they're going to Mexico. Plus they've been to these before.
Yeah. Nerd. Really.
Such a relatable moment for me.
The answer is like the equivalent is like putting on a suit for your first hookup.
Literally.
Yeah. And I love Ilias just, and Shane's like, also, I didn't feel like being managed this weekend. Did you bring anybody? And he says, nope. And maintains eye contact as he brings like the neck of the beer up to his mouth and like darts his tongue out a little bit. I'm like, this was the most seductive drink I've ever seen.
The best thing they've done in this show is put like bottles and glasses in that man's hand.
Yeah, true.
Just like,
Truly.
Just like Connor's story drinking drinks is just... There should be an edit. That's all I'm saying. Between the vodka glass and the Corona bottle, I was like, we could.
And the water bottle. Don't forget the water bottle.
Yeah, the water bottle.
And the water bottle. Exactly.
No one could ever forget.
That, and it would be like 1,000
The most full water bottle of all time, by the way.
But then Shane is like, nice shirt.
You know he's feral for that shirt.
Yeah, especially
Ilya's sitting there uncomfortable, like, I'm underdressed. Oh, I shouldn't have been on theme. And Shane walked up and was like, holy. They had like the same reaction to each other's outfit.
Yeah.
Well, they're like fully, openly, 100% checking each other out, eye-fucking each other at this bar. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Are you guys aware that there are other people in this bar? Because it doesn't seem like you're aware.
No.
Speaking of which, here comes Bonnie.
Yeah, exactly. Cats and dogs.
Here
Cats and dogs. So
cute,
good.
so American.
It's my favorite line. I wish it wasn't, but it is.
I say it all the time. I say it
every time I feed my pet. When I'm like wrangling my animals, every time I put the food in the bowl, I go, cats and dogs. Can't help it. It's like a stim now.
Unlikely animal friends, by the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
That's such a good callback. I also really love when he's like, be careful with this guy, though. You can never trust him. And Ilia's like, 1 black coffee, please. He's like, oh, I'm just fucking with you. It's going to be a hell of a good time. And Shane like giggles as he walks away and is like, I feel like we're going to be getting a lot of that sort of thing this weekend.
Overall, the vibe is just like, I can't handle these Americans.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is valid. I get it.
Yeah.
I love how he goes, fucking beauties.
Yeah.
Like, it's such, the happy bro moments are so good.
Yeah. Very good. And Ilia says it should give us a chance to get to know each other. Who knows what we might have in common? And then we have like this intense eye contact for a second. And he says, you're looking very pretty today. Different, maybe? Someone take you shopping? Tell me where Rose is!
Yeah, like, literally.
That's ask number 2 if we're counting.
And Shane's like, if I tell you something, you promise you won't tell anyone or make fun of me? And rightfully so, Ilia's like, well, that depends on what it is. He's like, seriously? And he's like, okay. And he says, I hired a stylist. And my note says, Ilia slowly smiles and laughs, and then Connor pops out for a second here. Because the smile is so big, and even the way he, like, holds...
The Polly Pocket.
Yeah, how he holds his hand over his mouth, I'm like, that's Connor.
It's really cute. It's really cute.
Shane did a Polly Pocket in the dinner with
Rose.
Rose, too.
He did.
When he got all shiny, dude. He just did that. It's
specifically the angle of the hand that they do.
And I want to point out that, like, in the book in this moment, Ilia is so scared that he's going to say, like, I have a girlfriend, I'm engaged, I'm seeing somebody, and like, he's like getting ready to like have his heart broken. And so I think like part of that reaction is like the surprise and the relief of like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And like, thank God this is what he said.
Yeah, the first 2 seconds of the shot of his face is just like him processing. Just like okay, I don't have, my life isn't over. It's like 2 seconds of being like, okay, we can move forward. And then you got a stylist.
So cute.
Of course you did. And Shane's like, I shouldn't have told you. And he says, no, I love it. I love it. You got what? Tired of looking like shit? And he's like, I didn't look like shit. I just wore athletic stuff. And he says, oh, I know what you wore.
I know what you wore.
Yeah.
So good.
He's had many years of taking those clothes off of you. He knows what you wore. And I love the line delivery of, some of the guys in league are just so fashionable. The way he says fashionable gets me every time. And he's like, yes, so very. And Shane's like, not you. Some of the guys. And he's like, in the league, other players, not you. And then Ilia says, okay. And he takes a really big, deep breath. And then you can see him being like, all right, look cool. Be chilled. No big deal. No big deal. So this has nothing to do with Rose Landry?
He's so brave.
He's so brave.
He's like, I'm going to have to say her name because he's not going to bring her up. And he's like, well, no. I mean, she always dressed very well, and so did her friends. But I just wanted to stop looking like I was going to the gym. I never really cared about clothes. And Ilia's like, I noticed all of the past tense you just said in that sentence. So you guys are not.
So did we.
Yeah.
Yes.
His brain is like pinging.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep. And he's like, she's great, but we're not compatible, I guess. And then there's like intense eye contact, and then they're like looking at each other's mouths, and then they're eye contact again.
A century goes by.
Yeah. 2 hours later, Shane's like, I guess I should circulate. And Ilia says, yeah, you have new clothes to show off. And then Shane is like, let me just rub all of my pheromones all over you as I get out of this chair.
It's like, let me exit in the most inconvenient way
I would
possible.
climb over his lap.
Exactly.
Let me get excuse me. Oh.
Yes.
Rattling you by accident. My bad.
Yeah.
Like the sexual tension in this scene is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Ashley, you missed ask number 4 because he also says, so you and her are not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So
That.
just want to, if we're tallying, it's 4 whole times in this.
And then he asks again later on the beach.
He does ask again
like,
later.
He's not done.
It's like, Jesus.
Which I have something to say about that when we get to that scene later.
Yes.
But I think like this scene is the best sexual tension in the whole 6 episodes. Like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You really feel it in this scene, yeah.
So this is like up there too of one of my favorite scenes of the whole series. I love this scene so much. And we're at the hotel pool. Shane's like lounging. Ilia's in the pool playing with the kids. And he's like, okay, I will not be losing this time. But if I lose, I will buy you all candy bars from the machine inside. Okay. And I love the woman that's like lounging right behind Ilia. She's
Who
like,
is she?
I don't know. She looks fabulous though. This red swimsuit.
She's in the background when they're at the bar too, though.
With her cocktail.
She's very close to him. She keeps getting splashed. Also, she doesn't look like a parent of any of these children in front of him.
She's not acting like it.
She's just like, I want to be close to this hot Russian hockey player.
Yeah, well, imagine if you were just like staying in a hotel in Florida, and then all of a sudden it was full of hot hockey players, and I would also follow them around and drink.
I would follow that one around.
At the pool, oiled up, drinking a cocktail.
My headcanon is that like she's clocking this tea and she's just like staying nearby to tell what's going on because she's in the background at the bar too. So
she's
like
sensing that sexual tension.
Yeah.
She's
like
feeling it.
They
and
did
she's
have
interested.
limited extras.
I know. Most likely, yes.
We just see this girl in every scene.
That happens in like a few scenes in the show where like the extras are like very close to the conversation but not reacting in any way. Mm-hmm. That's like one thing that I find to be really funny. That also happens in the club with like the people sitting right next to
the club cracks me
Rose
up.
and Shane and Miles, and they're just like they're not reacting at all.
A little statue.
Like, at least their face could be doing something.
Yeah, she's just there.
And so Ilia calls over and he's like, Hollander, make sure none of these cheaters cheat, okay? And I love his like, okay, and he like gives him a thumbs up and he says, you know that guy? Who's that guy? And this girl says, that's Shane Hollander. And he's like, so you know this guy. And this is when we get our first like splice in from the game and we see Shane like passing over to Ilia. And the girl's like, he's the best player in the whole league. And he's like, no, that is not true. Splash her. Boo. You get out of the pool. Who's your dad? Show me your dad. And this is at the point when I was watching this for the first time that I was like, okay, I never want to have kids. But this man can have some eggs.
You'd have his. I know. I thought the same thing.
Ashley's volunteering as egg donor right now.
Yeah, I'm like, you can put one in me. You can put one in me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Also, the subtitles kill me here because whenever he says like splash her, the subtitles say flesher.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate that.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
He had one job. It's crazy.
And he's like, okay, I forgive you. You can stay. And then we get another spliced in shot from the game where they're like they're passing it back and forth, and you hear on your mark, go, and then Ilia dives in with like the shark fin, like a hand as the shark fin. He's like, there's a shark in the water. It's so cute. And then we splice in another shot from the game, and they're like smiling and staring at each other, and Shane scores a goal. And then Shane is like clapping for the kids while Ilia is like fake drowning in the pool, which is such a good shot.
Mm-hmm. He's also clapping for his goal.
Yeah.
It's such a dad clap too, by the way.
It
I don't
is.
know. I don't know if you could call it like what's a dad clap, but he's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
The editing of this scene of like the splicing back and forth is so cool. It's really neat.
They're really good at the like splices that they do in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
I love the way they shoot the hockey. It's so great. We get the ice noises, which is my favorite part about hockey.
And we splice back into the game, and Ilia comes over and kisses Shane on the helmet and says, great pass. And Ilia says, great goal. And they have like lingering eye contact.
Again, a century goes by.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's the rest of the team? No one else cares.
No,
no one
yeah.
else cared about this
Again,
moment.
like, are you guys aware that there's other people here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that we get to see that Shane is at center.
Yes.
And then we go back to the water, and he's like, you guys won fair and square. And we get this slow-mo of him, like, getting out of the pool while Shane is watching.
And just shaking like a dog.
Yeah, shakes off on top of him. And Shane, like, recoils.
It could have been slower. That could have been about 45 minutes of the episode.
If you're going to do it right, you know?
Yeah, just on a loop.
Yeah.
On a loop from different angles.
Yeah, I would have loved, like, a 360 slow-mo.
Right, a below shot.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
It's like someone get the glam bot from like red carpet.
Yes.
It's like around the pool. That's what I need.
And he's like, can you give these kids some money? I don't have my wallet. And then again, they just stare at each other for a very long time. And we go back to the game, and they are still staring and smiling at each other in the game.
It's so good. I love Shane's like exasperated face at Ilia like shaking the water off on him and stuff. Like he's trying so hard to be annoyed, but
he's
so
charmed. Yeah,
happy,
so charmed.
It's really, really cute. I love like Ilia's multitasking in this scene. Like he's taking care of those kids for the parents. He's having fun for himself. He's showing off for Shane all at the same time.
He does what Ilia does though, is he just takes care of people around him.
Yeah.
He can't help it. It's just his nature.
Exactly.
It's his love language.
It is. It really is. Oh, and then we got to this beautiful scene on the beach at sunset. And
gorgeous.
Ilia walks up and sits down next to Shane, who's been sitting there, and he says, found you. And Shane's like, so you were looking for me? And he's like, no, of course not.
No, of course not.
Like every minute of every day of my life, I'm looking for you.
Exactly. And he like just jumps right in. He's like, oh, by the way, I looked up that word. Shane's like, what? And he's like, compatible. I thought I knew what it meant, but I wanted to be sure. And Shane's like, oh. And he's like, so you and Rose Landry are not.
Again.
Number 5.
He's like, need a triple check.
Yeah. Now that I fully know that I absolutely understand what you said before, let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Can I just get a confirmation? Can you sign this affidavit, please?
Yeah, literally.
Can you sign my pocket dictionary under the word compatible?
Yeah.
This is a binding contract.
And I love Shane's smile here too. The way that he like looks down and smiles. And he's like, yeah, not compatible, not in that way at least. And Ilia like looks down at Shane's hand in the sand, and he like looks around them to see like who's around. And Shane says, when do you fly out? Ilia says early, and Shane says same, Columbus, and Ilia says Toronto, and he slowly reaches over and like rubs his thumb against Shane's thumb, and Shane's like smiles and blushes. And this is my note in this says, I can't breathe during this scene the same way that I couldn't breathe watching Nick and Charlie's first kiss for the first like 500 times. Like my heart is literally in my throat this entire scene.
You can feel the chest clenching.
The only thing missing from this scene is literally sparks.
Yes.
When their thumbs touch on the beach. It's like little lightning bolts, like the animation.
Yes.
That's the only thing missing from this. It's just like Heartstopper animations because it's so soft.
Aw, cute.
It's so soft. Oh, that's an edit someone needs to do.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
There's such a dynamic shift in this scene because previously they were trying to keep it all sexual, and I think this time after this break, after that sort of like Shane rushing out of Ilia's home and after that Rose Landry debacle, I think this was like the first time back together and like confirmation. Obviously he confirmed it 5 times. You're not with Rose, like we can continue doing this. There's such a sense of relief and joy in that moment. And obviously, I'm sorry, if we're just fucking, I'm not going to sit on a sunset beach and like stroke your thumb with my thumb romantically. Like this is another step in that romantic direction. And I don't, obviously this leads into the next scene, so I don't want to go too far.
I'm not touching sand for just anyone,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No kidding. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Yeah.
I'm on the beach all the time.
Yeah, I love the beach.
Me too.
It's not for me personally.
Nope.
But I love that, like, Joe, to your point, like, there has been such a shift. Like, Shane knows who he is now. He's accepted himself. He's like confident in what he wants. And he has come to Tampa to like get this man back. He's on a mission. You know, so he's the one to ask what Ilia's room number is.
Yes.
Which I love.
He's
that.
like,
Just
I'm gonna get this man to talk about his feelings on this trip, one way or another. And that's where, obviously, shifting into the next scene is where he gets to then probe Ilia with questions. Which is like the reverse of that.
Wait, before we move on, I have to talk about Shane/Hudson's side profile in this shot, and just in general, but especially on this beach. Like,
he has a perfect nose.
He's a perfect everything. We can't talk about that, or I'll never stop.
Yes, they are beautiful, beautiful men, and they shouldn't be shown on screen because it makes me feel terrible about myself. Like,
it's
honestly,
mean, right? It's
like
mean.
hire some ugly people. Let's get some average guys up on the screen because I feel terrible. Like,
there's like hot, and then there's just like effortlessly hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
We go to Ilia's hotel room, and he's like leaning against the like desk, and we see his brother is calling. He declines it. And then we see the text that Jane is here. He gets up and lets him in, and we see the room number is 1217, which I love because that is in the book. He answers and he says 1217, but they cut away before he answers in the show. And I just love that they kept it accurate because they didn't have to do that, you know?
No, if they're not including the number, they don't have to.
Yeah. But I was like, I like giggled and kicked my feet when I saw it. I was like, that's 1217
for the book girlies.
Yeah. And Shane comes in and makes a beeline straight to the bed and sits down. And Ilia like makes that little nervous face. They're like, oh, and he says, this looks serious. And Shane's natural instinct is to say, no, it's not. And then he's like, well, okay, yes, I guess it is. Can you just sit down?
I like that Shane sort of ensnared Ilia with the concept of a booty call, but came in hot with hot and heavy conversation. He's like, yes, let me meet you up at your room. I'm gonna be sexy, and then he's like, we gotta talk.
Yeah,
like
real,
real,
his ground.
Real. Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Shane was like, Ilia, can we like sit down and talk? Ilia probably would like,
exactly.
So he's like, let me meet you up in your room, and then gotcha.
Yeah. Now that I have you trapped here. And Ilia walks over to like lean where he was leaning before, and we can see his little mini fridge, and you can see the ginger ale that he has in his little mini bar. And my note just says screams.
Stop. Really? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
They're sick and twisted.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote this, whoever directed this, the people, the creators of the show, you're sick. How dare you do it?
You're sick. I love you.
Yeah, literally. You guys are incredible. How dare you?
And then there's the tiny continuity error of the Celsius temperature gauge behind
thermostat.
him. Thank you. Temperature gauge.
Oh, is it in Celsius?
Yeah, the thermostat's in Celsius, but they just throw palm trees in the room and they're like,
yeah. I also have another cute little detail note that I got from Ola, sent it to me from Discord. She shared this little Reddit post about the art that's hanging next to Ilia above the desk. It's like I don't know if it's a painting or a photo, but it's like a building. And apparently, I don't know how to say this. It's called the Choi Hung Estate in Hong Kong. And that name, it literally translates to the Rainbow Estate, which is a very cute detail for this little, I'm going to come out to my boyfriend scene.
Sweet.
They do that with the art in this.
Yeah, the art's amazing in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and also double entendre because he is hung.
Yeah,
so
he's
that's
a hung rainbow.
Right, exactly. That's so sweet. They're so good. They're so smart.
He's a rainbow hung.
So art.
That's cute.
I love that.
So Shane jumps right in and he says, "It's not just me, right?" And Ilia says, "Not just you, what?" And he says, "You feel it too, don't you?" And Ilia's like, "Feel what?" And he says, "The last time we were together, it was different." And Ilia, you can tell, is like putting all his guards back up. And he's like, "What was different? That you ran away?" And he says, "Look, I'm sorry I freaked out, okay?" And Ilia says, "Freaked out over nothing." And Shane's like, "It wasn't nothing. Don't act like that. This is hard enough without you being an asshole."
That was apology number 1, by the way. I'm tallying again.
When really, though, too, it's like, obviously Shane knows what he's feeling, but he like him running away from Ilia was like the worst thing he could have done to Ilia.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
he knows he's apologizing, like, oh, I fucked up, like, oh, I did this, but like I don't think he understands
The
at
level.
this point the level of like how much he hurt him because everyone who loves him leaves him.
This is such a difficult scene to get through for me. The emotional impact that the scene has on both of them and their relationship, and like the ending of the scene, and we see the contrast of it to previous scenes, and like him saying, like, just simply, "You feel it too, right?" That is something, because I was in a very similar situation as Ilia and Shane previously in my life when I was younger, where I was, I had these feelings for this guy, but it was very unsaid, unspoken, and like these things would happen between us, and it was just like we would never confirm it, but like, obviously it is what it is. But like that's like the exact words I wanted to say so many times and just never had like the bravery or like the moment where I felt like I could say it. And for him to like say that in that way exactly then, it felt so real, and it was like such a gut punch to me, because that's real. That's exactly how, if Shane was a real person, that's exactly what he would want to know. You know what I mean? That's exactly it. And like, I don't know, this show just was incredible. It really captured this exact situation that a lot of gay men have been in. It captured it so perfectly. It knew exactly how Shane would be feeling, what he wanted to know. It was so beautiful and so gut wrenching. And like, there's this, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt anymore, because the scene, there's so much to it. And like, there's so many layers. We could talk about every 3 seconds of the scene in detail, because there's so
every
much
beat, every single beat.
There's so many shifts.
Just the way that they shoot it too, and the way that it's acted. It's just like, there's so few shows out there where you just feel like you're just watching people. Like you're not watching something scripted. You're not, just like,
it's so true.
Where it just feels so raw and authentic, and this is how they would talk, and this is how they would react, especially Shane's little probing questions coming up.
Hey.
But I don't think I've felt like I've watched a show, and I know Lizzie can relate to this too, like that has felt that real since like watching, we were really involved in a show called Scum in Norway.
Gosh.
And
people keep telling me to watch that. I gotta watch that.
Oh my God, Joe.
I have to.
Not since that show have I seen just like these interactions like portrayed on the screen, where you're just like, you don't feel like there's a camera, like you feel like you're intruding. Like you feel like you're there. And I think that's also the way that they film it, with camera angles and stuff like that. Like it's just feels so real.
So tender.
Yeah.
Shane's like persistence and bravery in this scene is so moving. It's so beautiful. I'm so proud. I'm so glad that he did it. I'm so glad that Ilia has someone in his life that like pinned him down in this way and didn't let him wiggle out this conversation.
Yeah. When I was watching it the first time, obviously I was crying the whole episode, but and I was like, that's right. You don't give up, Shane. You continue. Don't get off that bed. Like, I just love that he he planted his ass on that bed and was like, I'm not leaving until we have this discussion.
Oh, he doubled down. He was like,
yeah.
And like Ilya's deflecting so hard. He's being so bitchy. He's being downright mean at points because he is so scared, and he's trying to like wiggle out of the situation because he's so afraid. And Shane is just like so persistent, so steady. And, that calls back to like the scene with Rose, of her being so persistent and so steady with him. And like, Katie, you brought up Scum. And what I love about this show and reminds me of Scum is the way that like we are so influenced in both negative and positive ways by our friends and by the relationships in our lives. Like he took that model of that conversation with Rose and he brought it to this situation where I'm gonna persist. I'm gonna be safe for you. I'm gonna, he wasn't mean to Rose, but like when Ilia is kind of like, mean to him in this scene, he doesn't take it personally, because at this point he knows him well enough to know that that's a deflection, know that he needs to persist through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially after like the Olympics and like, like the Sochi Olympics and like everything too.
Yeah, he doesn't know specifics, but he knows enough.
No, but he knows that this is how he deflects. He's mean. He shuts down. He's like, go away. I don't want to talk about this. And I think he knows him well enough now.
And it's really, he doesn't take it personally. He knows that he's just scared and that he just needs to.
And he's seen that other side of him now, after episode 4 and when he left, like he knows that the feelings go there. So
I'm just gonna power through the dialogue real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's about to start crying.
Yeah, no, same.
He says, what do you want, Hollander? And Shane just does like a really big sigh. And then we can hear Ilia swallow before he starts the next sentence, which an emotional hard swallow that you can hear always destroys me. And he says, we get together, we fuck, it's simple. And Shane is like, simple? And he says, it's simple for me. And Shane says, bullshit. He says, I think I'm gay. And Ilia laughs and says, oh yeah, what makes you think that? And Shane says, fuck you, you're not gay. And he says, no, not completely. And he says, yeah, well, I think I am completely. And Ilia says, okay, so you're gay, so what? And Shane is like, well, it's kind of a big deal for me. And then Ilia like slumps over himself. Yeah. And Shane says, I'm sorry if I'm being boring again. And Ilia just groans. And I was like, as someone who hates to feel emotions, I get this. I get this.
That's the way I felt
so
too. Actually,
hard.
I was like, this is the moment he's like, God, I'm not getting out of this. Yeah. I have to power through it. Like he just accepted it at that moment. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm not getting out of this. I have to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I need to defend Shane telling Ilia that he's gay. Okay, because this man literally has asked him 5 times if he is with Rose.
True. Yeah.
And I feel like it is helpful for Shane to clarify to Ilia, like, no, I am not with Rose. I am, in fact, gay. Like, that is helpful information for Ilia to know at this point. That's reassuring information. Yeah, and for Ilia to be like, why are you telling me? Like,
so you'll shut the fuck up about Rose. Yeah.
Exactly.
You literally asked me about my girlfriend 5 times earlier today.
Exactly. So again, that's on autistic communication. That's on clarifying for your man.
It is. But I also think it's like an important moment for Shane. I don't care if he was sucking fucking every guy in the league. In that moment, he was identifying as gay for the first time to Ilia. You know what I mean? Before that, they were like, oh yeah, of course I like her. Even if he had never been with a woman and Ilia knew that, it was an important moment for him to be like, I'm identifying now as a gay man. And it's important.
It's the second person he's ever said it to.
Well, and he didn't even say it to Rose. He just nodded his head. This is the first time he's said it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't tell Rose he's gay. He told Rose he's a bottom.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Exactly. And those are not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Not mutually exclusive.
So true.
Yeah. Well, and he, Joe, to your point, like Shane says, this is a big deal to me. And that's when Ilia's like, oh, and he goes over and he sits next to him.
Yeah.
So you can see him like kind of understanding like, oh yeah, you're isolated too. You also don't really have anybody to talk to about this.
I think Ilia would have been dismissive no matter what he said in that moment. He was just trying to get out of the emotional talk. He just couldn't. It wasn't about. He doesn't want to hurt Shane, but he did. That is kind of his defense mechanism.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm gonna throw some shit at you because I'm scared.
Right. Exactly.
And he's like, "Why are you telling me this?" And Shane says, "Who else am I going to tell?" And Ilia just kind of like nods, and he says, "It's not just being gay, it's you." And I immediately start singing their song. It's you. He says, "It's this. Being gay is one thing, but fucking your arch rival is another." And Ilia has not looked him in the eye since he came over and sat down. And he says, "That's why it's a secret." And Shane says, "I know, but the last time. And for the record, I am sorry about the last time, okay? I'm sorry I freaked out." Mm-hmm.
Third apology.
Yeah. But before that, it was nice. And Ilia says it was. And Shane says, "It felt like we were something." He says, "We can't be something, Hollander." And then Shane says, "Would you want to be if we could?" And I literally, I was already crying, but then I burst into a sob and was like, oh. So I'm like, finally he's saying it.
Mm-hmm. The way my heart clenched at this point, every time I watch it, I just I get that that tight feeling in my chest. So because again, the earnestness, the bravery, I'm just gonna say it like it is.
I think I froze. I couldn't move. I was like, if I don't move, they won't see me. Defense mechanism.
It's very Shane.
Yes.
No, I can't believe he's saying this. And he said exactly what he needed to say in this scene.
Well, he says what he's thinking. It's just so it's just Shane,
Which is so hard to do, though.
It is.
In real life.
Again, I will say that's quite autistic to just say what you think. Right.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna ask a question.
It's both brave and natural.
Yeah.
That's what Ilia needs, being a repressed Russian man who's not used to sharing his feelings. He needs someone who's straightforward like Shane. So
I think that's why they work so well in their communication. It's just Shane is very the way he like presents, he's just very matter of fact. He gets to the chase. He asks what he's thinking.
Directness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then there's Ilia, especially so many years with the language barrier and things too. Like those direct, kind of short, easy, like that's how they communicated for so long too. So I think that they're perfect.
They are. They are.
That's it. They're perfect.
They really are.
So Ilia says we can't, and Shane says that's not what I asked. And I'm like,
period.
That's right. Hold your ground.
Lock it up.
Get him. Get him.
Yeah, Ilia whips around to face him at this point for the first time since sitting down, and the anger is there. What does it fucking matter? And Shane like kind of flinches and is like, okay, here we go. And he's like, I don't think I can keep pretending that I don't like you anymore. And Ilia looks away and says, you don't like me. And he's like, yeah, I do. I think I like you a little too much. And Ilia's like, don't fucking do this, Hollander. I'm not. And then he takes a deep breath, and then he turns to Shane again, and he says, I wouldn't be able to go home again. Ever. Do you get that? And Shane is like, because of your family? And Ilia's like, because Russia! I would not be able to go back to Russia!
I'm going to Russia!
So good. And Shane says, what would happen to you? And Ilia's like, I don't want to find out, which valid. And Shane says, but would your parents? And he says, my father is police, my brother is police. And Shane is like, and your mother? And he says, dead. And he says, I'm sorry. And he says, I was young. My father's very old-fashioned and sick. And this is really when I'm like, this is when the tism really, like, picks up. Because he's like,
really feel it in the
sick
scene,
like crazy. And he's like, oh, that too. But no, sick more like, oh, like cancer. And he's like,
what? Don't say that. But yes.
He's just like a little kid asking questions.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes.
Like he doesn't know how, like, obviously it's a sensitive subject. He has those, like he doesn't know how to communicate or communicates differently with people, in those situations. And it's just, he reverts to just like this very simple, like, cancer? Is it this? Is it that?
Yeah. But he also doesn't know any of this, which is crazy because they've known each other for so many years. And so he's getting so much more context for the way Ilia is. Like we're saying in this scene, he understands Ilia at this point. He understands why he's reacting this way, but not the full story. Not why,
not the specifics.
You know what I mean? What added to it.
And it is like you said, Lizzie, it's like, it's the first thing that's coming to his head is what he's saying out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's also used to like needing to, I'm going to use Katie word, like needing to probe, needing to kind of like, again, like kind of walk Ilia through this conversation, like guide him through. Like, I think he's worried that like, if he doesn't prompt, like Ilia's not going to say anything. He's not going to share.
Yeah.
So he's like kind of just trying to like get him to say like, what is the thing? Tell me. Fucking tell me.
Yeah.
And he says dementia, and Shane says, that's awful. And Ilia starts to cry. You see the tear roll down his cheek, and he turns away. And Shane is like, hey, and he's, this kills me because his first response to crying is to apologize for it. And I'm like, oh, I hate it so much because he's not allowed, like, he's never been allowed to, like, express his emotions like that. I also doubt he's ever said this to, like, he's never said my dad has dementia to anyone outside of, like, maybe Svetlana, but she probably picked up on it over the years.
Knows what's going on.
It wasn't like a let me sit you down and tell you this. It was like a you've been here the whole time and have watched it happen thing.
Yeah. In the book, like Ilia literally thinks to himself, like, oh, okay, I've told somebody now. Like I've said it out loud. So it is the first time. And I want to mention that like Shane saying that's awful, like just as someone who also focuses on other people and, represses my emotions and needs permission to feel them, like saying what you're going through and having somebody else like validate, like, oh, that sounds really shitty. Like, that's really awful. That sucks. Like for me, when I say something that I'm going through and somebody says something like that to me, like, that's when I would cry then too, because that's when I feel that empathy for myself. When I see it from somebody else, it's like, oh shit, that is awful.
That is awful.
So I think it makes sense that like, that's where like, that's where he starts to cry. That's where he sheds a tear because he's like, fuck, man. Yeah, it is. I haven't really thought about it because I'm just like powering through life.
Yeah. And Shane climbs in his lap and puts both hands in his hair and kisses him and then just like hugs him and rocks him while he cries.
He also says no. he says no to the apology,
Yeah.
which is very, very important.
It's true.
It's probably the first time Ilya's ever been like held or supported in that way.
Since his mom died, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
And
As an adult, or
exactly. And he's
Yeah.
been going through so much these past couple of years with his father and his family and like himself and everything. And he really doesn't have much support. We know he has Svetlana, but she's not there all the time.
Right.
And it's for him to have that moment. And I think you see that happening throughout this conversation. Like when when Shane for the first time says, "I like you," you hear in Ilya's voice, it cracks when he says, "You don't like me." Like, because I think that's that first crack in that wall. Like he's feeling emotions that he doesn't let himself normally feel. He's it's Shane saying the obvious, but that they're both denying for this whole time. And now all of a sudden, Shane is there supporting him when with something that's probably been weighing on him. It's probably been like a pound of bricks on his back for so long, and he's not been able to feel anything about it. He's not been able to express it. And finally, this person that he secretly loves and is there supporting him. It had to have been like a damn flooding of emotions.
Yeah, and like he's this person whose mean parent has convinced him that he's fundamentally unlikable.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think in the books they say it's been like over 10 years since he's let himself cry. And so this is like, like when you haven't cried in a really long time and then you finally start.
Yeah.
Like this went on for a while, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, no. It's like,
No.
She's like, I cried 3 times yesterday.
I've cried 5 in the last hour. Like, I also love that we fade to black here, and then when we get this like little fake out of like, oh, they didn't have sex at all because Shane is now at the door leaving, and then we turn and see that Ilia is in this like disheveled bed.
That bed has seen something.
It's so funny.
Laying like an Adonis, just like the position. Yeah.
I think
he looks like a Greek god. Like someone should be feeding him grapes.
Yes.
Or like
it's so funny.
everything.
Oh, Shane was just feeding him his grapes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wait, can I say something? Can I say something about Shane comforting Ilia, like when he climbs into his lap?
Yes,
you can. Please.
He, so I feel like Shane is very much like a words confirmation person. He's very much like a words of affirmation. Like we need to communicate directly. I need you. I need to say what I'm thinking. I need you to say what you're thinking. But Ilia is such a physical touch person.
Yes.
He's so comforted by that. And I think like Shane, when he sees Ilia get emotional, he like instinctively like he climbs into his lap. He's like, I'm going to envelop you in physical comfort. Like he just kind of instinctively knows that like that is what would be most helpful for his man at that point. And I think that's so wonderful.
Yeah. That's such a good point. I really, really, really love it. And I remember being so pleased with this the first time watching it too, but I love that we don't see their sex scene here because that would take away from this moment. I know everything is after. Yeah.
It wasn't about the sex this time.
Well, because that just goes to show you, it's just like, we know it's there, we know it's happening, but that's
it's not the most
why we're here.
It's not
the most important part.
It's not how they're communicating anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, that's how they communicated. They didn't. Not only was there like the language barrier and the fact that Shane couldn't pick up on like the social cues, but like just the way that they were able to like say anything to each other was through sexual contact. And we have surpassed that now to where the sexual contact is like a bonus to this relationship that we're watching right now. And it's just like so beautifully done that now we've faded out the sex scenes and we're focusing on the emotional scenes.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm more involved in them talking on a bed than talking on a bed. And this, not that we don't enjoy watching the other, but it's like this whole episode it was really just like a middle finger to all the people who were just like,
it's
this
just
show
porn.
is just yeah, exactly.
This episode is communication porn is what it is.
Yes, emotional porn.
This is porn for women right here. It's just men talking about their feelings. This is porn for women. It's audio porn.
It's porn for like emotionally starved people. Anyone who just wants to be loved, like truly
exactly.
Deep emotional relationship.
We're not used to it. We're just not used to seeing people communicate like this. And I think it was just, this episode needed to happen. They needed to skip the sex. They needed, or at least to not show. Also, I don't think there was time.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in this episode.
That's true.
A lot happens in this episode.
And again, like that bar scene is one of the sexiest scenes in the whole first season. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
hot as hell.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of the sexiest scenes are just yearning. It's
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
the sex, it's just the
Those
yearning.
are the ones I find myself rewinding more than
Same.
anything.
100%.
It's like
Mhm.
eye contact
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
That's where like my like heart rate and like breath.
Uh-huh.
Same.
Yeah.
it
Those
doesn't
micro
happen.
expressions and the
Yeah.
longing
Baby.
looks and please.
It's the before, it's the after,
Yes.
it's the staring,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
The soft touches, the hand down the
Mhm.
back at the
Mhm.
at the like it's yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh,
So Shane looks over at Ilia. Ilia is staring at him. He says, "What?" He says, "Nothing. Good night, Shane." And Shane like smiles and blushes and says, "Good night, Ilia." And I love ending this scene with like them saying their first names, smiling this
Yes.
time and letting us know like
Huge.
we have surpassed that.
Yeah.
Also, I love that for once Shane leaves and we're left in the room with Ilia, because most of the time we either leave with
Yeah.
Shane or Ilia leaves and we stay with Shane.
Mhm.
And so it's
Mhm.
nice to have it flipped, like, okay, we're going to
Yeah.
see Ilia's emotions more now.
Yeah, we get to see Ilia stare at the ceiling and realize he's fucked.
Yeah, I put he is definitely emotionally hungover right now that he's alone.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
what a
God.
fucking weekend for this guy and his heart.
Exhausting.
I also need to point out Shane at the door, like when it cut to that shot, I was like, this is the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Like him in that lighting and like the happy look on his face.
Mhm.
He's so cute, so pretty. Like that's the moment in the season for me where I'm like,
I love
oh
that.
my goodness.
that was her Polly
I just-
Pocket moment.
Yeah,
She was like,
it was. Okay, so 2 weeks later, we're in Boston and we're in Shane and Hayden's room, and Hayden is presumably on his way out to the gym based on how he's dressed. And he's also, Shane's phone is open, face up on the bed, open to the Jane and Lily thread. And Hayden sees and says, "Boston Lily's texting you, have fun." And Shane says, "It's not." And he says, "I don't care." And he walks
I love
over to
Yeah.
the phone, and Lily says, "What time are you leaving tomorrow?" And he says, "Early. Why?" And he says, "What are you doing right now?" "Nothing. I'm at the hotel." "Come over." And he's typing. He says, "I can't. We have a game." And then he picks up his sweater and says,
He's immediately
"Tonight."
out the door. Yeah.
And he's like actively getting ready.
Zero hesitation.
I can't as I'm stepping out
Yeah,
the door.
exactly.
Yeah.
Such a good bit. It's so funny.
good. And we get the call back to like, it's a terrible idea. Everything we do is a bad idea, which is cute.
Super cute.
So then we cut post-sex in Ilia's bed, and his phone is going off, and we see that it's his brother. And at this point was when I was like, oh, his dad is dead for
Yeah.
sure. And I started like bracing myself for that. And Shane's like, "Oh, you can take it if you want." And he's like, no, I don't want to. And this is Shane trying to get a little more details, a little more information, and also just like another like comforting check-in of like, how is everything
Mhm.
going? And he's like, "How's everything at home? Your father?" And he says, "Enough, okay." And Shane's like,
Mhm.
"Enough what?" And he's like, "Questions. You have too many of them." And Shane says, "I'm sorry." And Ilia says,
Mhm.
"It's okay." And I love that he's like rubbing Shane's knee through the blanket.
Mhm.
Mhm. And I love that like Shane asks, like he's
Yeah.
always checking in. He's
Mhm.
always saying, "How are you?" He's always saying what's going on. Like just like kind of like to call back to Svetlana, like giving Ilya opportunities to open up. Like Shane's always given him a chance, even if Ilya doesn't want to take
And
it.
Ilya's being softer here too,
Yes.
as opposed to his usual, just like he's shutting them down.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like you ask too many questions. Like normally in the past, Shane would just be like, "Okay," and they'd like move on.
Right.
But the fact that he was just like, "It's okay," like
Yeah.
it just
Mhm.
it goes to show their development as far
Mhm.
as communication.
And I also love that we see Shane immediately starts ribbing him. Like that's another
Yeah.
love language
Yeah.
for Ilya, is like he wants to take care of you and he wants to make fun of you. And
Mhm.
that's,
Yeah, he sensed that like it was getting too real for Ilya, so he
Exactly.
he made a joke to ease the tension,
Exactly.
which again
Mhm.
is like such like a sweet thing, shows his understanding of him, and also shows Shane is funny.
yes, yes.
Shane Hollander is an asshole.
Yeah,
Just-
so good. I love that. We're going to destroy you guys. Oh, so you are the asshole. No. And Shane's giggle when he's like, "No, still you," is so cute.
It's so cute.
So cute. He was so
So
cute.
cute.
Aw.
Adorable. Adorable.
So then we cut to the locker room. And
Captain
again,
Ilia.
we see his phone ringing and he ignores it.
Oy.
And I love hockey as Captain Ilia, where he's like,
Captain Ilia.
okay, listen up. The rumors are true. $1,000 for every goal scored tonight. Okay, boys? Montreal goes home crying. Please. Please. So good.
Amazing.
And I love, like, Marley is, like, his biggest. He's, like, 100% his Hayden. He's like, yeah, you fucking heard him. Let's go. Like, so hyped up about this.
Mm-hmm.
We see them all, like, walking out, and then we cut to them walking back in. And Illy says, no. It is not true. I said you fuckers owe me $1,000 for every goal I score. So you all owe me $3,000.
He's such a little shit.
He really is. And his phone rings and he says, what the fuck do you want? And the music stops. I love the way that they cut the music at the important. We have like
editing.
all of this build up and then cut.
So good.
And then we cut to the Montreal locker room the next day. And you hear JJ be like, did you hear about Rosenoff? And Shane out of nowhere, he like drops out of the ceiling. And
Yeah, he's like,
what about Rosenoff?
He's been activated.
Kool-Aid Man through the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So JJ says, well, he did not fly with the rest of the team to Nashville. And I love him being like, he flew separately? Like, and he's like, no, he didn't go to Nashville at all.
My God.
And this is another perfect example of Shane just like not having any chill and not being subtle at all. Hayden's like, well, he didn't get hurt last night, did he? And he's like, no, not that I know of. Or JJ says that. And Shane's like, no, he didn't. And Hayden's like, well, maybe he's sick. And Shane's like, he's not.
He's not.
I mean, he didn't seem sick.
I took his temperature last night.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And JJ's like, who gives a shit? ESPN is just saying he didn't go to Nashville. Calm down. And Shane is immediately texting.
Running to his phone.
Yeah.
Not obvious at all, buddy.
Yeah. And he types out, are you okay? And then we cut over to Shane's apartment. And he like looks at his phone. He sets it down. He goes to the fridge for a stressed ginger ale. He pulls it out. He opens it and then abandons it to immediately go back to his phone.
Mm-hmm. He's like making eye contact with his phone
The
from across
whole
the
time,
room.
just making sure that
Real.
it's not going to go off. And he picks up
So real.
the phone and calls him.
So real.
And I love Ilia's voicemail. Hi, this is Ilia. I will never listen to your voicemail.
Also so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instinct, I had to like change my voicemail as soon as I heard that. I was like, this is it. This is the new one.
I would have to know like how to access my voicemail and change
I
the
know.
voicemail note to do that. Though.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair. That's fair.
And I also love the little detail of him like picking his coat up off the table and hanging it up on the chair.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to his bed and he's got his slutty little glasses on and he's reading. I also looked. Moscow is 7 hours ahead of Boston in the summer and 8 in the winter because they don't do daylight savings time.
And it's winter there right then. So it'd be 8 hours ahead, right? Because it was snowing when Ilya's on the phone.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So what time do you
It's
guys
probably
think?
morning for Ilia and it's night.
Like
night
early
for
morning.
Shane. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because later we see him like looking out at the sun as he's like drinking. So I feel like he woke up, called Shane, and is now like getting ready for the funeral after.
Okay, makes sense.
Wake up, Skype sex, go to your dad's
Exactly.
funeral, regular day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Which is traditional in Russia.
I love as soon as he sees that it's a FaceTime from Ilia, he like throws that book down and like frantically
Yeah. The way
sits
he
up.
like sits up in bed, he's like, "Ooh, this is formal."
Mhm.
He throws it, you hear a cat scream.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
Gotta put my suit on.
Yeah, yes.
Exactly.
Little tie.
He answers the phone and says, "Are you okay?" And Ilia just says, "You wear glasses?"
It's the first thing he says too.
And he says, "Just for reading," and takes them off and says, "Where are you?" And Ilia says, "Home. Please put them back on." And Shane's like, "Boston?" And he says, "Moscow." And Shane's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And he says, "I will be better when I see you with your glasses on again." And Shane like shakes his head like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And he puts his glasses back on. Happy? And he says,
I love his
happier.
eyebrows when he says happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so sassy.
Shane says, "Is your father?" And Ilia says, "Yes, dead." And Shane says, "Ilia, I'm so sorry." Ilia is like, "I don't want to talk about it. What are people saying about me? I need to know like what's going on there." And Shane's like, "Nothing. The media is being super secretive and the Raiders haven't." And Ilia says, "Good. I will be back by the end of the week." And Shane says, "You should take more time than that." And Ilia's like, why? So you can catch up to me in the scoring race? And Shane is like, I'm being serious. You know, you can talk to me about whatever. I want to help if I can. And that, like, you can see it in Ilia's face.
But again, like, Ilia does not take the opportunity, but Shane says, like, he says, I'm so sorry. He says you should take more time than that. He says you can talk to me about anything. He says I want to help. Like, he's just consistently, like, reassuring and reaffirming for Ilia.
He's like begging him to be his boyfriend.
Yeah. Well,
like, please.
He's telling him that, like, I've got you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just,
I can be your support.
I want to take care of you.
You just have to let me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just so loving. I love him so much.
And Ilia responds with, take your clothes off. And Shane's like, what? And he's like, I'm being serious. Please, if you want to help me, take your clothes off. And Shane is like, fine. So he takes off the glasses and he takes off his shirt. And we see Ilia take his shirt off. And then this is one of my favorite Ilia moments when he says, glasses back on, tap, tap.
So cute. And then it cuts away and we were robbed.
After being like, we don't need to see the sex scenes. We're like, please show us the sex scenes.
Well, is that scene in the book, like, it's a really hot sex, like, Skype sex scene, but there's also so much important, like, dialogue and emotion and relationship progression, which obviously, like, Jacob worked into different areas. But I was, like, looking forward to that just because of, like, all of, like, the confessions and the conversation. That's where they, like, tell each other that they, like, got off thinking about each other after their little bicycle race and everything. Like, I did miss not having that, but I understand, like, logistically.
Yeah. They packed so much in this episode. They were like, oh, time. So then we cut to Ilia dissociating out the window. And we go down to the dinner / the wake.
Such a beautiful shot. So gorgeous.
Yeah. We see Svetlana's with him. We see the shot of, like, the rye bread on the vodka. And I got curious about this custom, so I looked it up. And it's basically just like a way to close the loop of life, right? You break bread with someone to initiate, like, a friendship or a relationship. And so this is like a parting gift of the same sentiment. He's, like, looking around. He makes eye contact with his stupid fucking brother. And his brother's staring him down. And he, like, whispers something to Svetlana and then goes in the next room. And the brother follows. And we get this mirror shot. I love when they show us stuff through a mirror. So we're, like, looking in the mirror and seeing Ilia seeing his brother behind him, and they're having the beginning of their conversation through the mirror like that. I just love it. And Alexei is like, stop fucking avoiding me. And Ilia says, if only. And I'm like, oh, relatable content. And his brother's like, so? And Ilia says, so what? And then his brother just slams him against the wall. And Ilia yells, don't fucking touch me. And he's like, shh, and, like, points out. And it's like, what did you fucking expect him to do? Not yell at you? Like, and his brother says, tell me the fucking plan. And Ilia says, Jesus Christ, I don't know yet. He just died. Can I just get a minute to breathe? And then his brother says, and me? What about me? Do I get to breathe too? Or is that something just reserved for Efslers who abandon their families? And this is the second time that he's used that word for Ilia. And he says, abandon? Whose money do you live off of, you piece of shit? Who puts food in your mouth and coke up your nose? And he's like, I have a child, Ilia, and a wife, and I've spent the last 5 months taking care of our dying father every fucking day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are your responsibilities.
Like, let me throw out the lamest excuse to take your money and do drugs is that I have a child and a wife. Like,
those are your responsibilities. That's your wife. That's your child. That's your father.
Yeah, just figure your shit out.
I'm here making the money to keep our father being taken care of. I'm the one make the money raising your family, by the way. So how about I beat your ass now? And that's what I would have done personally.
But Ilia is like the epitome of, like, say what you want about me, but don't talk about the people I love, because he holds it together until Svetlana comes in. And she's like, I thought that I heard singing. And his brother says, oh, great. Now we have to listen to this whore run her mouth. And Ilia just fucking loses it.
Ooh, yeah, beat his ass. Beat his ass.
My note says, buddy, he would fuck you up. I'm like, he's
literally
a professional athlete.
Yeah. It signals so much about who he is, because he just takes the abuse when it's leveled at him. Yeah. But when his brother says something about his girl Svetlana, he's like, absolutely not. You're getting punched.
Yeah.
But Svetlana's like, stop. He's not worth it. He's not worth anything. And Ilia steps back. And he says, you can have my apartment, which honestly is already more generous than he needs to be.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I think it's him trying to like cut ties with everything. Like take my
Exactly.
apartment. I'm never coming back to it anyway. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like now that his father's gone, there's
Yeah.
really no reason for him to be in Russia. So
Yeah.
fucking take it. I'm
And I think
leaving.
mostly, like, it comes with the trust, too, that comes afterwards.
for
I
sure.
think it's all just for his niece.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
There's just he's just like, bye. But, like, he needs to make sure she's taken care of.
Mhm.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
He
and that
loves
gives her
kids.
He
a
does.
stable place to live. He's leaving her a trust, so when she's 18, she'll have money.
Mhm.
And he says, you will never contact me again. And if you do,
Mhm.
I will use every piece of my fame and money and notoriety to make sure that you can't show your face in this fucking city without someone wanting to break it. So take what I offer and shut your fucking mouth and walk away. And his brother, like, is like, oh, shit, okay. So he, like, and he's crying. The brother's fully crying. And he, like, looks over in the mirror and, like, gets his shit together and leaves. And this was the first scene that I was like, holy shit, Connor. Like, I was already so impressed with all of his acting up to this moment. But the way that he's able to, like, portray all of these super intense emotions and in Russian and have it all come across right is just like,
Yeah. His performance in this scene is crazy.
and it gets better. It continues to get better. But this is the first scene that I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. But he's so scary, like the rage.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Ooh, a little bit of a fear boner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as soon as his brother's gone, Svetlana, like, walks over. She grabs his knuckles and checks. She's like, straightening him up, make sure his shirt looks good, you know. And he says, I don't deserve you. And she says, yes, you do. Which I love is a switch from when she scares him in his apartment. And she's like, you know, going back and forth because he's texting Jane instead of paying attention to her. And she's like, you don't deserve me in that moment. And now we're here. And she's like, yes, you do. But you don't want me. And he says, you know I love you. And she says, I know you do. But it's not the same as it is with Jane, is it? And he just looks at her. And she's like, I love you too, and whatever you need, I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. I just hope that Jane knows how lucky he is. I'm going to cry right now.
The unconditional love, it's, again, this, you know, mirrors the scene with Shane and Rose. Like, this is his girl, this is his bestie. She supports him unconditionally. She loves him unconditionally. She tells him that he is worth it, that he does deserve good things. She tells him that Jane needs to know that he's lucky. Like, again, she's building this man up, this man whose dad has shit on him his whole life, made him think that he sucks, he's lazy, he's unlikable. She's reminding him how wonderful he is and the fact that he deserves good things. And this, like, bolsters him and makes him courageous to then go, like, reach out to Shane and ask for help. Like, it's, again, the foundational importance of friendships. It's so beautiful.
It's like finding that person also that you can't hide from. Neither one of them can hide from these women. They see straight through them, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So steady. A moment for Ilya's mock turtleneck in this scene as well.
Ah, yes,
He looks
so good. So
Very
good.
Russian. It's giving Russia, you know?
Yeah.
It is.
You're not wearing that in Boston.
Oh,
So then we cut over to we're like outside Shane's hotel room, and we see the text come in, are you alone? And the door opens immediately, and Shane stumbles out, and he texts back, yeah, and he yells to Hayden, like, hey, I'm just gonna, and Hayden cuts him off and says, have fun.
It's like, I don't care. Stop.
I love Hayden so much.
He's so funny.
He's like, I don't need to hear whatever lie. Just go on.
Yeah.
You have fun now.
Hayden is so dense. I'm sorry.
I love him.
I love him so much, but buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy, put it together. It's been years.
He
Yeah.
does eventually, okay? And he's the only one who ever does. So
I
give him
know,
some
but
credit.
it takes so long.
It does take a long time.
And it's right in his face.
We don't all have autistic pattern recognition powers.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
He's just a regular hockey bro.
We have a little bit of an insight on that.
I love Shane jogging down the hallway, by the
Yeah,
way.
his jog being like, can I call you? Yes, and just takes off.
Yeah.
He goes, like, finds this empty stairwell and sits down, answers the phone. How are you?
Again, first thing he says.
Yeah.
Checking in.
I love Ilia. Okay. Not good. Probably bad.
Probably bit.
Relatable once again.
Yes, yeah. It's like, I don't want to say it, but
Yeah. Like, I don't know, but probably not good.
yeah. And Shane says, how's your family? And he says, at their worst, my brother is, I don't know, scared. It makes him terrible, and it makes me terrible back. Relatable. I feel like that is like a very common funeral experience for any family. Even like the healthiest of families, funerals is going to bring out the worst in you all.
And I like that, like, Ilia's emotional intelligence to know that, like, Alexei was scared, and that's why he was being so mean to him. Like, even though it, like, he's so hurtful and abusive, like, he understands that that comes from a place of fear in him as well.
Yeah. Shane asks, is it very upsetting? And he says, yes, but maybe I'm upset about the wrong thing. And Shane says, you mean not your father? And he says, well, maybe I wish it could be different. I wish he could know me, or I don't know. English is too hard right now. And I'm like, as someone whose family doesn't know them or really care, this hurts so much. And like, and I just recently lost my mom. So like, all of this is just like salt in all of my wounds.
I'm with you on that, Ashley.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so
right
hard.
there with you. It is.
And Shane's like, I wish I spoke Russian. And he says, yeah, you could probably learn it in a week. No accent. Perfect. Bonjour, which is a callback to him watching him do that interview in French. And he's like, in fucking French. And Shane says, that's French, Ilia. And he says, yeah, I know, Shane. And I'm like, this is
Ilia.
literally any reason to say each other's first names now, as often as possible. And Shane asks, where are you? And he says, I'm just walking. I needed to get out. And he sniffles. And he says, hey, I have an idea. And this is not the last time we'll hear Shane say, hey, I have an idea. And he says, how about you tell me? Yeah. How about you tell me everything that's on your mind, but in Russian? I won't understand, but maybe it'll help. And
so sweet.
I was impressed with how quickly Ilia agrees to it. Like, he just really needs to let his emotions out right now.
He does, yeah.
So he takes a really deep breath and starts, and we see Shane is like, he's not quite got his eyes closed yet, but he's like already, before he even starts, fully enamored.
He's locked in.
Yeah. And then I'm going to read the monologue.
In Russian, please.
Yeah, please.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Can do. So he starts, he says, I never want to come back here again. I fucking hate it here, and they fucking hate me. And we cut over to see Ilia. He says, I pay for everything. I make sure everyone has the clothes that they like. I make sure the food is perfect. And I'm like, the tuna melt, is your ginger ale cold enough? That father is buried next to his parents, that the tomb is perfect. And the only fucking word I ever hear is, I want more, Ilia. I need more, Ilia. More. And I have nothing left. And I have nothing left for these people. I give them everything, but I feel fucking empty. We cut back to Shane listening. And we hear, they don't care. They look at me and they see an ATM or an enemy. And then Shane closes his eyes. And Ilia says, or I don't even know what. And we cut back to Ilia. And he says, my brother. And when he does his little voice breaks when he says that. And he says, he's always hated me. I know why, but it kills me. And then he starts to like cry and break. And he says, it kills me that he took care of my father and I didn't. But I couldn't, and I wasn't here. We cut to Shane, and now Ilia's voice is no longer coming in through the phone, because emotionally he's there with Ilia now, and he's hearing it all as if he's sitting next to him. And Ilia says, and he will never forgive me for any of it, for existing.
Oof.
And it means that I have no one now. Well, not no one. I have Svetlana. She loves me, and I love her, but not like... And then he says, fuck me. And he like holds the phone away and like takes a minute to breathe. And he says, but not like I love you. That's the worst fucking part of all of this. All I want is you. It's always you. I'm so in love with you and I don't know what to do about it. And now my cat is also crying in the background.
Emotional.
Yeah. Cut back to Shane, completely entranced. Ilia says, okay, I'm done. And it's still... Ilia's voice as if he's with him before that line.
The sound design is so cool in this scene.
He says, do you feel better? And then back in the speaker, he says, yes, thank you. And it's like, whoa. It's like we fully went on that journey with them.
Both of their performances in this scene are so incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both like have such like different assignments for this, right? Like Connor obviously has to deliver this emotional monologue convincingly in Russian, but Hudson has to like perform just listening and hearing and emoting, and like his eyes, the expressions on his face, like he's feeling Ilya's pain with him. And I don't know, it's so beautiful. It's really, really well done. And I also love there was an article just yesterday about cinematography of the show with Jackson Perrell. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he talks about how like their eye lines in this scene, like they cut back and forth between them, but their eye lines are lined up and they're looking like toward each other. So it's almost like they're in the same place. And again, just like the intentionality of like every single aspect of how the show is crafted and put together. Like no wonder it's so effective.
Yeah. The line that really makes me start to cry is when he says like, and it kills me that he took care of my father and I couldn't, because like you said, taking care of people is his love language. So the fact that he like, you know, as rocky as his relationship with his dad was, like it's still his natural inclination to want to take care of him and
to be a good son,
and
like
he couldn't, and that's like even worse,
especially when your parent is like aging and frail.
Yes.
And experiencing dementia. Like I'm going through that with my mean parent right now. And it's, you know, there's a point in the book where Ilya says something like, you know, that he likes talking to him or being around him more now because he's not as mean to me now that he like, you know, can't remember why he hates me essentially. And there's really like no pain like deeply loving and wanting the approval of somebody who doesn't like you, and still feeling that instinct to like protect them and take care of them, and feeling the guilt when you can't. You know, he's like physically far away, but I feel like even if he was there, he might not have had anything for these people. You know? And so like living with that guilt, but still you got to take care of yourself. You've got to do what you can do, and you can only give so much.
Right.
Yeah. And also when someone is elderly and they're losing their cognitive abilities and losing kind of who they were as an adult, they're no longer that person who was abusive. And I've experienced something like this in my personal life as well.
Yeah.
And they're no longer that person. They're simply someone who's related to you who needs help and needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, most people deserve that. I'm not going to say all people, because I think someone in the White House is currently experiencing that cognitive decline, and frankly, he can kick rocks. But
get fucked.
Right, exactly. But
derogatory.
And it's one of your parents, and they're losing their sanity, they're losing their mind due to old age, whatever. At a certain point, you just have to accept that person who was abusive, that person who was unkind, that's not who they are anymore, and they're just a human being that needs to be taken care of in their final days. And you know, and Ilya is obviously a very emotionally cognitive person. He's a very sensitive person, and that's why he has all his guard up, because he is a sensitive person. And he, as much as he is hurt by his father, he still loves him. He's the only parent he has left. You know, him losing his mother at a young age, and we find out later that he was there. He found his mother. His father was the only one he had left, especially with having no relationship really with his brother. So there's a lot happening. This is such a deeply emotional scene, and there's so much happening more than the obvious with these characters.
It's really layered.
It really is. It really is. And this is probably my favorite scene in the entire show. Just this monologue. It's so good. It's so real. It speaks so much deeper about the characters. It's I could cry this is when I cried. I cried about this watching this again today. I've cried every time I watch this scene. So it's intense.
You can really feel it. You can feel all of the emotions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Shane is like, well, maybe you could teach me Russian someday. And he says, yeah, okay, only useful phrases, though. Shane says, like what? And he says, I don't know, like harder, please. And yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shane says, fuck you. And he says, no, more like, fuck me, please.
Please teach him that. I want to hear it. I want to hear it in season 2.
But I love that Shane redirects here. He's like, okay, that was a nice little, you know, moment of reverence, but how about I wish you were here right now?
Yeah.
Again, so brave.
Yeah. And then he replies in Russian, I wish I was too. And in this moment, we get a very tiny bit of the piano music that we get at the cottage when they're after they say I love you and they're sitting on the rock in the morning. It's the same song, but we only get a little bit of it because they're not quite there yet. They're almost there.
Just a little hint.
A little bit. And
so
progress
makes me
my note says the music in all caps.
Mine is all caps. Piano music screams.
Yeah.
Piano music
screams. Yeah. Okay, so 1 week later, Montreal, the boys are warming up, and we hear the hockey announcer give us a little backstory of where we're at now. A little winter thaw couldn't come at a better time for a Montreal team who needs to heat up right now.
So cheesy. I love it.
Yeah, I know. The Metros are clinging to a wild card spot in the playoffs, and tonight they're facing the Boston Raiders with Ilya Rozanov back in action following the passing of his father. Everyone's thoughts and prayers go out to the Boston captain, who can't have had a couple of easy weeks. And then he says, but counting him out could be a mistake. It sure would, because few players respond to adversity like Rozanov. And Shane skates over to Ilya, who is center ice stretching. Center ice.
Sure is.
And says, we still on for tonight after? And Ilya shakes his head and he says, 1919 is the code for the front door. I'll text it to you. And Ilya says, front door, brave. I'm like, having this conversation center ice is brave.
Yeah.
Shane says, fuck you. And Ilya says, later.
Later he'll use the back door.
Hey.
It was too easy.
I also love that while they're having this conversation, you can see Hayden like taking a drink and he sets the water bottle down, and then Shane walks over and can't find his own water bottle. So he just picks up Hayden's and starts drinking out of it, which is adorable. And Hayden is like, well, what was that about? And he was like, oh, I just offered my condolences. And Hayden says, oh, yeah, that's nice. Fuck, I should have done that.
Oh, yeah.
He says, what did he say? And Shane's like, he told me to fuck off. He says, Jesus, what a dick. And Shane's like, well, he's not that bad. It's mostly just an act. And Hayden's like, yeah, pretty convincing one. And he's like, yeah, well, let's just make sure we win this, okay? And Hayden's like, fucking right. And then they do their little headbutt.
So cute. Like cats. Or hockey players.
Yeah.
But I love that
Same thing.
through the whole season, like, it's everybody else putting words in Shane's mouth about how he feels about Ilya. Like, he's never the one who says to someone else that he's an asshole or that he doesn't like him. Like, people say that to him and he's like, I mean, I guess.
And they're like, you hate him the most of all of us. And he's like,
right.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Sure.
You say so. I hate how much I want to kiss him all the time, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. We cut to Shane and Ilya's face off, and they have these big, sappy smiles looking at each other, and the music is like swelling, and they're like slapping sticks.
Like, and they proceed to stick fuck on center ice. Just like,
Exactly.
so cute.
Shane wins the face off, and then my note just says, and goes on with hockey shit.
Oh my God.
But then, like an absolute dumbass, he turns around to smile at Ilya while he's fucking playing a hockey game.
Yeah, man, you gotta look where you're going.
And we see it on Ilya's face before we see the slam. And Marley, like, absolutely knocks him on his ass. And I love Hayden is immediately like, Marley, you motherfucker, and goes over.
Yeah, immediately jumps in to defend Shane's honor.
Marley's just holding him out at shoulder length like a child, while Hayden's like, so cute.
I love the different reactions too between like bestie and like love of his life.
Yes.
Where it's just like Hayden's just like, I'm gonna kill this guy. You're my friend. And then Ilya's just like, hello?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Like, oh my God.
He's traumatized right now. Then in that moment, he's terrified because he
absolutely.
just watched his father die.
He just lost someone,
He also found his mother dead. And now the love of his life is sprawled out in front of him, possibly dead for all he knows. So he's terrified.
He's
terrified. Yeah.
Poor guy.
He couldn't even be angry. He was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, he's in shock. He's fully in shock. Yeah.
Is he okay? Fucking tell me.
Yeah. Like, again, not to bring it back to Heartstopper, but this is Charlie getting hit at the St. John's match and Nick not being able to do anything about it. Just standing there watching. And the announcer's like, well, you hate to see that happen, but it looked like a clean hit. I'm like, shut the fuck up. We are traumatized right now. And the ref is like trying to move Ilia away. Ilia's just staring, and you hear them say, like, Ilya Rosanov is still on the ice looking concerned. Well, not even Rosanov wants to see someone hurt like that. And then the medics come up, and he kind of, like, skates just a tiny fraction of the way out of the way to let them in. And this is when we start getting, like, the close-ups of Shane's face. Like, he's got the neck brace on, and they're, like, putting him on the stretcher. And the announcer says, like, it's unclear if he's responsive or not. And then they, like, move him over to the gurney, and you hear the announcer, or you hear Ilya say, is he okay? Fucking tell me. And the ref is like, get back to your bench, Rosanov. I'm not going to tell you again. And then you hear them talking about Ilya's response. They're like, say what you want about this rivalry, but these two guys have played, blah, blah, blah. It, like, cuts off. We see the ref, like, pushes Ilya back to his bench, basically. But his eyes never leave Shane. And then we get, like, the medic trying to keep him awake. Like, you need to keep your eyes open, buddy. Like, stay open. And he says, my parents. And he says, your parents, your coach is going to call them, okay? And he says, okay. And then he says, tell him I'm fine. Okay. And they say, tell who? And they say, he's gonna worry. Yeah. And the med's like, the coach is calling your dad. He says, not him, Ilya. He says, who? I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I would love to see a reaction from the meds, like, next season, being like, oh, he did say Ilya.
My favorite part from the book, which obviously you can't put everything in, you can't put their inner monologues in, you know, like things like that. But my favorite part is in the ambulance when they're headed to the hospital, and like all the medics are like telling Shane to like, can you do this? Can you do this? My favorite line, I pulled up my favorite quote here, is when he says, when he wiggles his feet or wiggles his toes, they ask him. And when he goes, he thought of Ilya. He wished he could text him. He wished he could tell him he wiggled his toes.
Yeah.
And that's like,
so
every time I see that scene play out in my head, I'm like, when he's in the ambulance before the hospital, I'm like, he's in there wiggling his toes, like having his Kill Bill moment, like wiggling a big toe. And he just wishes he could tell Ilya he wiggled his toes, like he'd be so proud.
I know. Well, and like he's like injured and doesn't know what's happening to himself, and his instinct is like, I need to reassure Ilya. Like his concern is to make sure that Ilya is okay.
Yeah.
My baby.
These boys.
My baby boy.
I love this transitional shot, too, of just the hospital ceiling
so cool.
as he's being wheeled through, because it's so accurate to your memory of these situations. I was in a really bad car accident when I was a teenager, and I remember, like, 5 minutes before the wreck, and then the next thing I remember is not even that night, I remember the next day being wheeled through and waking up and, like, seeing the ceiling and being like, where am I? What's happening? And I like tried to sit up and they like shoved me back down, you know? Like you were on your way to surgery. You need to lay down. But like, that's what I remember is the lights and seeing them like flash
That's
by.
like a very specific like hospital trauma memory.
Yeah, it is. It is. Every time I see it, I'm like chills. I'm like, oh God, yes.
It's not great.
No.
But it's really cool how they did it.
It is cool. Yeah. So then we're in the hospital room. And the door opens, and we see Ilya, like, slink in and shut the door and, like, make sure no one's following. And you hear Shane, Ilya! And Ilya says, I just wanted to... And then I have another note here of an emotional hard swallow. And he says, are you okay? And all I can think about during this scene now is the book canon of him, like, being at home, Googling all night, trying to find out how Shane is doing. And Shane says, concussion and a fractured collarbone, out for the playoffs, but, and he says, Ilya says, could have been worse, and Shane says, could have been worse. It's so good. All of Hudson's line delivery, this entire scene is so good.
Incredible.
Ilya says that Marlo feels terrible. He did not mean to hurt you. And Shane says, I know. It's part of the game. We all get our bell rung eventually, right?
Right. Right.
And Ilia's like, right. And then Shane says, hey. And then he starts doing grabby hands. He says, hey. And Ilia's like, okay, shh, okay. And walks over, takes his hand.
Yeah.
Shane says, yes.
Well, and I think
better.
that's like sorry, Ashley. That's like another moment where I feel like, like Shane wants Ilia to come to him, but I think he also can see like how
Ilia
concerned
needs
Ilia
it.
is. And he's like reassuring him. Like he does the hey, like the same way he does in the hotel room before.
Yeah.
Like I think he's comforting and reaching for him
I'm
physically.
fine. Come here. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's okay. And he's also the one that's like, everybody gets their bell rung. Like this happens. Like, I'm okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's really
this
sweet.
entire scene is such an like an audio cue for me. Like it's all I hear is hey. Like I've watched this scene so many times. I've seen the edits so many times.
all I
it's
see
like a
is
vocal stim. Every single thing in this scene is a vocal stim for me, and I'm just like rewatching it. I'm like, I'm waiting for the edit.
Yeah, totally.
The better gets me every time too.
Yes,
and I bet he has a literal dopey smile because he's all doped up.
He does. He's on that good shit right now.
It's a literal dope.
And now that Ilia is holding his hand, we start to see his heart rate is going down.
And he like closes his eyes and takes like a little deep breath with a smile on his face. It's
like,
so sweet.
He needed that contact just as much as Ilia. Ilia says, you scared me. And Shane immediately is like, sorry, I didn't text you last night. And before he even gets the full sentence out, Ilia's shaking his head like, no. And he says, no. And he
says no.
Pets his little face. His little bruised freckles.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. Shane says, I was excited about last night. I'm honestly mostly mad at Marlo for fucking that up. And Ilia says, he feels really bad. And I'm like,
really
Does he?
And like Shane Hollander, Mr. Hockey, like is most upset that he didn't get to like spend the evening with Ilia and ask him what he wants to ask him. Like that's his main concern.
Yeah.
Oh, baby boy, you're down bad.
Yeah.
Oh, he probably had Cokes in his fridge and, everything at his apartment. And
let him in the front door. Ask him to spend the summer. Yeah. This was definitely a ruined night for him.
It was.
He says, I had a whole plan to ask you something. And Ilia's like, well, maybe it's better if you just rest right now. He says, I was going to ask you,
Hollander,
will you come to my cottage this summer? Don't go to Russia. Come to my house. We'll have so much fun. It's so private. No one will know.
Do that a week or even two. Like I can't. It's just such a vocal sim. I hear it in my head.
Yeah.
Get out, please.
My favorite is when he goes, "I'll have a week or even two," and the way his voice like wavers on two.
It's not even that for me. It's the before because he's like Hollander. I can't do that. And he's like, we could have a week, maybe two.
He's building up to it.
He's like, you're ruining it.
Yeah,
let me say it.
We'd be completely alone.
Together.
Yeah. And Ilia's like,
so
he is so high. There's no way I can deny him this right now. He's just maybe.
He might start crying if he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we know from the book, like Ilia was resolved to like break up with him here. Like he comes to this hospital, like we've got to be done with this. And
I don't know that I believe that for show Ilia though.
No.
It makes sense in the book. But I don't think at this point in the show
agreed
that he would be at that place.
Yeah.
But then this is another one of my favorite bits with the nurse comes in and Shane says, oh no.
Oh no.
And the nurse is like, uh-oh, you're not going to smother him with a pillow, are you, Mr. Rosenoff? And he says, no, but good thinking. He says, I was just leaving. And Shane says, okay, bye-bye. And then Ilia says goodbye, and we get this shot of Shane like clearing his throat and putting on his straight guy face. He's like, see you next season. And Ilia says, get well, Hollander. And he says, thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
It was nice.
And we get this last shot of Ilia like shushing Shane, like but also smiling at the nurse when she looks at him, and then on his way out. And the last visible shot we have of his heart rate is at 81, and I scream.
And my favorite also is when you see Shane turn to the nurse and he goes, hello. It's just the Russian accent.
Yes.
Hello.
So so good. It's so good.
So good.
It's too much. It's a
Beautiful,
lot.
beautiful scene with a lot of really good quotes.
And I love that, like, it was, you know, we know from like interviews that it was Hudson's choice to like play that like loopier and kind of he used the word juvenile when he talks about it. And I feel like it worked out so well because he's like the most fucked up, cutest person of all time.
And I love that that's the scene that Jacob says that he cried while they were filming behind the scenes because of how soft and vulnerable Shane played that, you know, was just like, oh, perfect.
So good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so stinking cute. Baby boy.
So then we cut to May of 2017. We're outside Shane's parents' house. And he's on the phone. And he's talking about how he's in a sling, but he thinks he can lose it in a few days. And Rose says, how's jerking off? And he says, ma'am, I'm at my parents' house.
So.
When has that ever stopped you?
Yeah. So constant, endless.
I love that line delivery. It's so funny.
He asks about the reshoots, and we cut to Rose, and she's being painted blue, and we can see, like, the red wig hanging up behind her, and I'm like, this is so heavy-handed, Jennifer Lawrence. So heavy-handed.
She's clearly Mystique.
Yeah.
Yes. Movie doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Because it didn't.
Yeah. And the makeup artist is, like, painting her blue, and he says, well, at least you're getting paid properly this time. And she's like, no, I miss getting kidnapped. I regret shape-shifting.
So funny.
And I can only imagine, because, like, the makeup process for that shit is so long. So you, on top of your long shooting days, you have, like, hours of sitting in a makeup chair. Like,
you gotta get blue.
Holy shit. He says, my parents keep asking if you're going to come by this summer. And she says, well, I still might. They can't keep me here till September. I'm going to lose my mind. And he's like, well, I don't think that's what they mean. And she's like, well, just tell them. And he's like, Rose. And she's like, just do it. Tell them I'm gay and you got sick of being my beard. And he's like, I can't lie to them. She's like, You
are.
He's like, more than I already have. She's like, I think they'd love it. And then they'd have to keep my secret, my big lesbian secret.
My big lesbian
secret. This is another really good line delivery. And the makeup artist looks at her like, ma'am. She's, oh, God, I wish. And the makeup artist says, same. And Shane's like, they would probably love that. And Una comes out and says that the third period is starting. So we know that this is like a commercial break. And he's like, all right, I got to go. So let me know what you decide about Labor Day weekend. And she says, I will. I love you. And then I looked it up because I was like, is Canadian Labor Day weekend the same weekend as American Labor Day weekend? And it is.
Shout out to labor rights.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that we hear Rose say I love you, but we don't hear Shane say it back yet.
Yeah. I did notice that, but I forgot to make that note. So thank you
Smart.
for bringing that up. So we cut back to the living room. The game's on. It's New York versus Boston. It's 5-2 New York. And the announcer is like, Rosenoff coming up on the right wing with Hunter staying on him. Rosenoff tries to push past him with no luck. So we know that, like, things are not going well for Ilia right now. Una is like, he's playing hurt. It's his ribs, I bet. And Shane, again, not being subtle, is like, how do you know that? And she's like, well, am I right? And he's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't talk to this guy on the phone all day.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And we hear David be like, your mother's a witch. And I love this, like, both with Svetlana, Sascha is like, she's a psychic. Whenever Ilia's like, how could you possibly know all of this? And then with Una, his dad's like, she's a witch. And I'm like, yeah, both badass women with impeccable intuition about hockey. Of course, it has to be a supernatural tie-in.
They couldn't just be smart and knowledgeable.
Yeah, right.
All the women in this show know the most about hockey. Is what we're saying. Women.
We love to see it.
And David is like, okay, the Raiders have lost. Dinner to celebrate? And Shane's like, Dad. He's like, what? We don't hate him anymore? I can't keep up. I'm like, just you wait. Just you wait. And Una says Rosenoff went to see Shane in the hospital. And I'm like, how does she know that? Did Shane tell her? Was he like all loopy and was like, Ilia came to see me?
Probably.
Or was she just like lurking in the hospital? Because I could see either.
Una Momager was like, let me see the visitor's log.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Like, who came to see my son and why?
Yeah.
How's this gonna look?
We need to talk about the baby Shane photos in their house, though.
Oh, yeah. They're very cute.
They're so cute. They're so cute. I just wanted to point that out. Sorry.
She's like, I just needed to say it. I just needed to talk about
It's
it.
important. I also love the
They're
detail
important.
of like he's like massaging his pec where like
Yeah.
his sling is. I think that's like such like a smart little like detail to make it seem more real.
Because he's got that broken collarbone and all those muscles. He's like rubbing all those muscles around the collarbone.
I'll help. I don't mind.
David says, "Oh, so we like him now." And she's like, "Well, now I hate him less." And then she says, "And good for Scott Hunter." And Shane's like, "Wait, why good for Scott Hunter?" She says, "I don't know. It's his year." And he's like, "How can you possibly know that?" And again, David's like, "She's a witch." And I love in the background, Yuna's like, "Stop it with that." And David says, "Or what?" And she says, "I'll cast a spell."
So cute. They're flirting.
Yeah, very cute. And then we get this little scene of Shane laying down. He's texting Ilia. He says, "How are your ribs?" Ilia says, "Killing me. How's your head?" He says, "Better." And Ilia says, "Good." And then Shane says, "Are you bummed?" And Ilia says, "About the cup?" And he says, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, what do you think?"
Right?
And then we get Yuna coming out of the bathroom and seeing him. And she says, "Turn off all the lights when you go to bed and stop staring at the screen." And another phenomenal delivery of, "My head is fine and I'm a fully grown adult."
Grown adult.
So good.
The way he plays being annoyed with mom is so real.
Yeah.
So real. I love it.
And he tells Ilia that his mom thinks the Admirals are going to win. And Ilia says, "No way. Scott Hunter is 100,000 years old."
True. It's true.
He's like 3 years older than them.
Yeah, so he's so young.
He's like what? It was like mid early 30s in this. Like
No, he's literally 3 years older. Like
literally
it's not.
3?
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
forgot.
what they say in the
That's
books.
so funny. So he's like 30 when they're like 27. Oh my god, that's crazy.
And Shane's like, "He's not that old." And Ilia says, he's almost as boring as you." And Shane's like, "Well, at least you have a type." And then we get the like, this is like the Ilia emoji to me. Like just the smiling devil
emoji.
It's so good.
Also, another Shane is funny moment. That was a good line.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So then we go back to the living room a week later. And the announcer, you hear her say, "In less than 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Admirals will have done what they set out to do and finally bring the cup back to New York." And I had read Scott and Kip's book immediately after episode 3. And so I burst into tears hearing this before I even really like comprehended what we might see, because I was like, it's gonna happen. Just like, and I was like, and we're gonna see Shane and Ilia watch it happen, and just like the emotional outburst that happened in the scene.
Yeah, like fully knowing what's gonna happen, like there's no excuse for like how hard my heart was racing.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's just so perfectly done.
Yeah, like the way they shot that, the camera shots, and just like the whole room panning of just that, like watching each of them watch it, like
yes,
back and forth from the TV to the ice, like so good,
it was just,
so good.
Yeah.
The build up they did for that was incredible,
so good,
incredible.
Yuna's like, "I told you." I love her being like, "I told you that this is gonna happen." And he's texting. She's like, "Who are you texting?" And he's like, "Hayden." She's like, "How's the baby?" He says, "Great." I'm like, he has no idea how that baby is.
He's like, "I don't know the name of this baby." I don't know.
He's like, "I don't care."
Baby?
Yeah, he has no idea. That's
Who
so
cares,
cute.
Mom?
I love that.
You're missing the big picture here, Mom.
We see Ilia is watching the game with friends, and he's also packing for Russia. The texts come through, like, "My mom was right." He says, "I'm so irritated." And I think it's funny because we hear them over and over again. The announcer is saying, like, "Marlo this and Marlo that." And I'm like, was this an accident, or is Marlo just like a common hockey player name?
Maybe.
Yeah, I was wondering if he's like supposed to have been traded or if it's just another Marlo.
Or like, did they film this for this specific little, because they're not really telling us anything, they're just like saying a bunch of facts about this Marlo, and I'm like, was this something they tossed in that I don't know, just curious. But then he says, "Come on, he's a nice guy," and Ilia says, well, he's hot, so. And then we get like a little angry face from Shane.
So cute. So
cute. And then we hear that they played 82 regular season games and 23 playoff performances, and that this is the first time the Admirals have won the Cup in 28 years, which is crazy.
Damn.
That is a crazy long time. And that's a lot of games. Like, I knew that they played a lot of games, but like hearing the numbers is like, holy shit. Una sits back, and then we cut over to Ilia, and he's like getting more stuff to pack, and then we start getting the splices like cut to the ice. And Scott is like shaking hands with this man. And I love Francois, but this is the worst acting in the whole show for me. It takes me out every time. The smile he does when he like shakes that man's hand is like so bad to me. So bad. But then we see Kip and his dad and Elena, and they kind of look like they're sitting like in Scott's seats in his little section. And I love the detail of Kip's dad is wearing a Scott Hunter jersey. You can see the 21 on his,
That's cute.
on his shoulder. And I'm like, do we think, because I know that the show like fucked up this timeline crazy. Do we think at this point in the show that Scott's dad has got, or that Kip's dad has gotten to meet Scott?
I have no fucking idea. Like, I'm so listen, I love this show, but like, I don't know what happened between Scott going to the stand outside the birthday party and this moment. Like, what is the context? Why are they there together? Why are they watching? How do you like if we get broken up?
They don't let us know like how they got back
No.
together.
If they were back together, like we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't even know. Like, did they just come?
I think it's implied that they were, since they're in his seats and he's wearing the jersey. But like,
that's a lot of
like
implying.
to know the details.
You know, like I want to know stuff. Give me a couple more. I need a couple more episodes.
I feel like they said that they changed their approach, so I think that they didn't have an opportunity to like go back and film something to fill it in.
No, of course.
I mean, they were going to do it. So
I know that.
I've got questions.
Yeah, same. Like, I don't know. I'm glad we got there, and it's still a very rewarding moment because we're so emotionally raw.
As hard.
It does.
Yeah.
But I just want to know the journey. Show me.
I know. I wonder if they'll like go back and fill some of that in.
Yeah, me too.
I hope so. I really hope so. And and it's like in the moment watching it, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh yeah, it's happening. But then after it's like, wait, how long has it been? And then you start doing the math and you're like, okay, it's been like 3 years.
I think it's implied that like Kip's dad that like had met Scott and like that they were together, because like you can see, if you watch Kip's dad, you can see he knows what's going on before Kip knows what's going on. And you can see him like feel happy and proud for his kid. It's so cute.
Yeah.
I love, again, a good like girl bestie friendship moment when Elena tells him it's okay to be sad.
Yeah. And that's really the most confusing part of all of it, is like when he's like, I'm not sad. And she's like, you're allowed to be. And it's like, okay, are they together?
Are you sad because you're not together? Or are you sad because you're hiding?
Because you can't go down there with the wives. Like,
I think sad that he's not able to be there with the rest of the wags.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
The wags.
We see Scott skate over to Vaughn and pass off the cup to him, and he's like, let's fucking go, we did it, and takes off. And I Believe in Anything starts playing. This is when the families start coming out. And Katie, was it you that pointed out to me the little boy? Or
the boy who looks so bored. He wants me. And I was thinking
not impressed at all.
Maybe it was Chelsea. He's like walking on the ice, just like, I cannot believe I have to be here right now.
The kid wants to go see his dad. Yeah. And he's like, cool, you just play hockey.
0% impressed.
Yeah. Kid might not have a future in acting if that was his best.
So funny.
I mean, they did say that they didn't have a lot of extras, so they were probably like, everyone bring your family to work day. Like, bring your kids, bring them.
Wasn't a child actor.
Let me go. I want to go.
Yeah, put me in, coach.
I'll go be a family member.
Scott's standing alone, watching everyone. It's so fucking heartbreaking. And he looks up at Kip, and then he looks back at his team. And then we cut back to Ilia packing, and he's just like kind of glancing at the TV every now and then. And Svetlana says, for your niece, don't forget. And he says, put it in the suitcase. So this is the indication letting us know he's packing to go home to Russia. And then we hear these stupid fucking announcers being like, he's looking out to the fans. No doubt recognition of their sticking with him. And I'm like, just the game is over. Shut up. Like,
well, that might be the luckiest fan you've ever seen.
That might be the luckiest. Sexy, jacked man
moment for that fan.
that he's pulling down from the stands.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Scott looks at Kip, and Kip realizes that something's happening, and then we see Ilia realize that something's happening, and then Shane realizes that something's happening, and Scott like waves Kip down.
Why does he wave like
I
that
know.
too?
I love that wave.
I think it's the gloves.
Yeah,
Does he have
maybe.
the gloves on at this point?
No.
Okay, well.
I think that's just how he does it.
He's just, Kip's far away. He's got to do a big gesture.
That's true. Yeah.
Come on down.
He has some weird movements. The running, the waving.
Yeah.
I love it. I also love how we can see like the moment Scott makes that decision.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And Elena's like, go, like fucking go. What are you still doing in your seat?
She's like, I'm going if you're not.
Yeah, literally.
Right? I would. Shit.
I also feel like Scott is. It's implied in the show. I feel like maybe he's older in the show than in the books because I don't know. Because the actor himself is what 40?
Yeah.
So he's like a little bit later into his 30s, and he's getting ready to retire because that's what it feels like. Like he's had a few rough seasons. Maybe this is like in my head canon. He's like, okay, I got the cup. I'm good now to kind of retire. Like maybe this is my high point. And like in that moment, he's like, what I really want is to be with Kip. I want to be happy. I want to be in love. Like if I go out and like this is what ends my career, at least I ended it on this high point. I achieved what I needed to for my team, for my fans, for my state. Let me at least be true to myself in this moment, and we'll see what happens. If I have to retire,
it's like I guess you don't know how you're gonna feel when you win the cup. Like until you win it, and maybe you didn't realize how important it was going to be for him to be like, I need this person down here.
Yeah, I want to celebrate with him.
Happening,
just moment
like
in your life.
Yeah, and you're like, there's only one person he wants to share this with right now.
Yeah.
Just like,
and in the books, he's already made the decision, like to come out. Like he's got a plan, but he's just like so overwhelmed in emotion.
Yeah,
in this scene that he's
it's
like
happening right now.
When he has the plan, he doesn't know he's going to win.
What a great way to do it!
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we see Ilia like sit down and walk in, and Kip starts to walk down, and Ilia texts, "What's he doing?" And Shane is like, "I don't know." And David like brings Una a glass of wine, and they sit down. And after Ilia has been like, "What is he doing?" Shane like sits up and is like, "Okay, yes. So it's not just me. Something is happening." Kip starts to come down the stairs, and this is again we hear stupid announcers being like, he's apparently inviting someone down to the crowd. Like we have eyes, we see that.
Yes.
And I just have a note here that we cut back, and Ilia's eyes are so big in this scene, like the way that he's watching this.
He's locked in.
Yes.
They're clocking that tea.
Yes, and I love that we get when Kip comes down the stairs and like hops over the thing. The advertisement that's on the door that he has to come through is for like Booster Juice, and it's like a juice ad that has, and it's like yellow with like blue writing on it. I'm like, so good, so fucking good.
I noticed that too, and I was like, if you're gonna make up something like Booster Juice, you might as well make it straw plus berry on the side of that.
It's true.
Anyway.
Big moment for Firehouse subs as well.
Yeah, it's true. And Cheetos. We saw Cheetos earlier.
Oh my God, so much Cheetos product placement.
Yeah.
Kip comes, onto the ice. He says, "You don't have to do this." And Scott says, yes, I do. And then my note says, Ilia's eyes. And he sits up straighter, and we zoom in on Shane's face, and his eyes are wide and his mouth is open. And we go back to Ilia, and we cut to Scott and Kip. They're out on the ice. We see on the TV that he's like shaking his head and like pulling Kip closer. And then my note just says, Scott kisses the fuck out of Kip. and this is when the camera starts to spin, and we get it throughout the entire trajectory of all the characters. So it like spins around them kissing, and then it spins around Ilia watching it, and then it goes back to Kip and Scott kissing, and then it goes back to Shane getting like a close-up spin.
Not just Shane, all three Hollanders standing there or sitting there catching flies in their mouths.
I know, I love that all of them have their mouths open. It's
all
so
of them
cute.
are exactly the same.
I have that.
That's
My note says the Hollanders have never looked more related.
Exactly. It's adorable.
Exactly.
I love that moment.
And it's not just like, it's like a dopey kind of expression on all three of their faces. Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Una says, wow.
And you see like David starts to smile a little bit too.
Yeah. Because he's a sweet baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Scott say, "I love you so fucking much." And Kip says, "I love you too." And they kiss again. And the announcer says, "You don't see that every day."
Well, you don't know how often I watch the show, announcer.
Yeah, that's
So I
true.
do see it
I
every
do
day.
see that every day.
Multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, sir.
And Ilia stands up with purpose and he starts dialing immediately and leaves the room. And Shane's phone starts ringing and he jumps up and goes around the corner. And Shane answers with, "What the?" And Ilia says, "I'm coming to the cottage."
I'm coming to the cottage.
And then Shane's little noise of disbelief ends the episode of, and that's it.
So cute.
And
Yay!
then I screamed and cried.
Yeah, no, same.
So
I think we
much
were all
crying.
screaming.
Yes.
So much
In that
screaming,
moment.
so much crying. I also love, well, there's a little moment like when it cuts back to Shane and his phone is ringing, like right in that moment, you can see like, Una had her like arm in her lap and you see her like turn to him and like put her arm on the couch. Like she's going to say something to him. And I always wonder like, what was she going to say? Cause you kind of like see Shane's parents like turn toward him because like,
Yeah.
they know they've got their
Yeah.
suspicions.
You gay?
They're like, "That's really
gay
cool
boy?
what he did."
That you?
Ooh.
Una was just mad that Scott did it first.
Right.
It's like, he took the brand now.
Yeah.
This could have been our
That's
thing.
true.
Yes. Yeah.
But I love that like you see that on his parents' faces that like, oh, like maybe this means something really significant for our kid to be able to like be who he is. And I think like it's so subtle and it's just like a really quick little moment, but
Especially since he immediately
makes me
gets the
feel
phone
really
call
nice.
too.
Yeah,
They
they-
talk it, like they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I just love that. I think that's really sweet.
When this episode aired, you know that I cried through the whole episode, but
Mhm.
after it ended, I sat on my couch for 45 straight minutes sobbing. I could not stop. I could
too.
not stop. I was just sitting there like, and like I was watching them all except for the last one. I stayed up and watched it at midnight, but I was watching them all the next day. And so like I would get up, I would avoid the internet all day while I worked. And as soon as I clocked out, I would pour myself a glass of wine and sit down on the couch and watch my hockey show. And my partner sometimes would hang out with me, but for this particular night had like a game thing going on. So he went to his office and was playing games and he came out right about the time the camera starts to spin at the end. And he said, "Hey, do I?" And I held my hand up and said, "Not now."
Yeah, literally.
And he was like,
Just start growling at him.
And then he came out and I was sitting there with the TV off sobbing. He's like, "Are you okay?"
That would have been me too, yeah.
You're like,
Not
"Okay,
okay.
I'm doing great. Thank you."
He's so emotionally sensitive, actually. He must be. He saw you sobbing ugly crocodile tears on the couch and thought, maybe she's not okay.
She's not okay.
Ashley watched
Wow.
episode 4 at my house, and I got to see her live reaction to the club scene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was truly a gift.
It was a lot of me going, "I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up."
That was emotional. It was.
Just, I mean, we can't say enough about the last scene in this episode. And again, the expert crafting, incredibly effective. The use of music, the use of cameras, like just a masterclass. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
I watched this probably at like 5 a.m. because I watched it. I didn't watch it. I can't stay up. I wake up very early because I go to the gym in the morning. And so I watched it before the gym. I made sure I woke up extra early to watch it before the gym. So I was probably watching this at about 5 a.m, like this particular scene. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs at 5 a.m. Luckily, the police were not called. But I was like on my bed. My poor cats were like, they scattered because I have 3 cats. They all scattered from the room because I was screaming at the top of my like that last moment when he said, "I'm coming to the coaches."
Yeah.
You have to scream.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do our end of episode superlatives. This episode was the hardest for me to pick these for sure, out of all 6. It's so hard to pick.
It's cruel.
So let's start with quotes. Katie, you go first.
I made a list.
I have a list as well.
Sorry. I hope Jane knows how lucky he is.
Yeah.
That one really stands out to me. Just the friendship of him and Speta. I'm obsessed with them, so that was really important. And then I really like it when he's speaking in Russian and he says, "All I want is you. It's always you." The easiest ones could be like, "Will you come to my cottage this summer?" Or like saying I'm coming to the cottage,
Mhm.
obviously.
Mhm.
But those two in particular really stand out to me.
Love. Joe?
I mean, this is so difficult. This is such a
I
loaded
know.
episode. So much happens. Like
Mhm.
every scene feels like an episode. It truly does.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to say the entire Russian monologue.
That's fair.
It's the highlight of the whole series for me. Like it
Yeah.
really is. Like that whole scene, the
Mhm.
acting, the writing, it's all so incredible. I would also love to point out Shane and his conversation with Ilya when he just says, I mean that whole conversation, but him saying, I can't keep pretending I don't like you, and then
Yeah.
Shane immediately breaking and be like, you don't like me. You know, you like that is such
Yeah.
a I have goosebumps even thinking about that moment. Like
Yeah.
and then also Shane saying, you feel this too, right? Like that just without
Mhm.
any context, but he knows what I'm talking about. You know, that is I have goosebumps from that stuff. It's such an incredible like I could just any line from this episode
Yeah.
truly I could give
Yeah.
it to you.
It's
It's so
really
great.
hard.
It really is. But those are mine.
Mhm.
Nice. Lizzie?
I also have a list. It's literally, I just changed it from bullets to numbers so I could see how many. It's 14.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, I love this.
And like that's being like that's being conservative. Let's see. I love a problem is something you can fix.
Mm.
I think that's like really, really sweet. I love things and stuff can be tricky for me.
Mm.
I think like that could be the title of Shane's autobiography.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
My guy is struggling. I really love Found You.
Mm.
Again, I think that's like,
I
it's
almost wrote that down too.
it's cute in context, but it's another one of those ones that like exists outside of the context and like
Yeah.
kind of has to do with the whole like story of the show.
Yeah.
And then I hope Jane knows how lucky he is.
Yeah.
I think
It's a
that's
good
another
one.
like really good like
Mhm.
friendship bestie moment. Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah.
There's
we
10
can
more,
post your
but-
we'll post your full
Yeah.
list after. Mine, it's so hard, but I'm gonna give it to.
Oh wait, sorry.
It's okay.
The delivery of "Ma'am, I'm at my parents' house," so
Yeah, this is really good.
it's so cute, so
really
cute.
good.
Okay, now I'll really stop.
I'm gonna give it to specifically the love declaration portion of the Russian monologue.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because of something later that I'm gonna say, but that I also have 2 honorable mentions. I really narrowed it down. I didn't let myself think too hard about it. The "Will you come to my cottage?" has to get just a little nod.
Mhm.
And then my big honorable mention is to Gless is back on.
Gliss is
Tap, tap.
big cool.
Mhm.
So good.
So good.
Let's do our favorite scenes and start with Joe this time.
I think my favorite scene again is the Russian monologue. I think just so much comes out during that. Like
Mhm.
there's such a flood of emotion, and the acting is incredible from both actors in the scene, and they're doing
Mhm.
2 different sides of the same coin. You hear Connor's story give this incredible scene, incredibly emotional from a character who is notoriously emotionally shut off, and just for once like letting him free flow. And sure, he has that safety net of it being in
Mhm.
Russian, but like
Mhm.
he's being true and honest and fully real for the first time in this entire season right then and there, and it's just so beautiful. And then you have Hudson Williams giving his famous eye work and famous
Mhm.
micro
Expressions.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That are so real and so true
Mhm.
and so heartbreaking, and it was so beautiful. That to me, that's my favorite scene. It's my favorite scene of the entire series.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. That's valid. Lizzie?
Oh gosh. Okay. Again, I think I wrote down every single scene. But
You're like, this entire episode.
This episode is my favorite scene.
they're so good. They're so
You
good.
can say that. That's fine.
I honestly kind of can't separate like the first scene with Rose in the bar when she like walks him through that whole thing. Like again, that might be my favorite scene in the series just because of like how like meaningful and beautiful it is, the way that she is there for him and the way that she leads him
Yeah.
through that, and how like meaningful it is to, for queer people to watch that and see that and feel that like validation through Rose. and again, what it says and shows about the importance of friendship and life. And like that is kind of to me related and wrapped up with the hotel room scene where Shane kind of uses like that
Yeah.
same skill set to support and be there for and give Ilia the opportunity to open up. Every time I rewatch this episode, I watch the hotel room scene over and over. It's just so beautiful. It's so sweet. It's so loving.
Mm-hmm.
And to see like Ilia finally like let someone know him and be there for him a little bit, it's really cathartic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those scenes really are like they're reflections of each other. Those two scenes.
Mm-hmm. And then I would also mention like, you know, Sveta being there for Ilia in a similar way later.
Yeah. Katie?
Well, I mean, Lizzie covered all of them. But just kidding.
Don't ask me to pick a favorite.
No, I know. She can't.
Hard.
She can't. Unless it's me. Hey. I would say my first initial reaction, because like we said, they're all perfect in their own ways. This whole episode, it's impossible to pick your favorite child. But
unless you're Yuna, in which case your favorite child is Ilia.
Yeah.
My initial choice was the All-Star game with the pool kids, him with the kids in the pool.
It's so cool.
Like that and like them on the ice, like just that watching them have that chemistry on the ice and how happy they were to finally do that together because their chemistry off the ice is insane. So you can only see and like imagine how good it is on when they're clicking. Just between that and just watching Ilia with kids and just watching Shane watch Ilia with kids for me is like a lot. So that's what
valid.
That's my favorite scene.
So good.
Yep.
I also chose the monologue, but the ending scene obviously is right there beside it. And then my big honorable mention was the pool scene spliced with the game, and also the beach scene too, kind of like rolled in with it. So good. So beautiful.
Can I just say that the All-Star game is my favorite scene? Just like everything that goes from the bar to the end of like
everything that happens in
let's
Tampa.
do it.
Right.
Tampa is my favorite scene.
That's valid. I have no rules here.
Okay.
We can't leave the bar scene out either because
it's so perfect. So I'm we're gonna say Tampa.
That's valid.
Okay.
Yeah, there are no rules.
Let's just say from the beginning of the episode to the end, that's my favorite scene.
Exactly.
It was just, honestly, between the four of us, we covered it all, I think.
Yeah,
so we're good.
Did. I think so. Yeah. Okay, favorite musical moment or cue? Lizzie, you go first this time.
Okay, if you insist. I guess I will go with, Ashley, you already pointed it out, but in the monologue where like that couple moments of the
piano,
one soul song from the score that also plays after the I love you confession in episode 6. I think that is so cool, so clever. So I'm going with that.
Nice.
But I'm obsessed with the score and music in the show in general. When they released the sneak peek of the locker room scene and the score in that, like just hearing the score in that sneak peek at that moment, I was like, this show is going to be incredible. This music is really good. Like, I get the vibes.
Yeah. Katie?
I do like the musical callbacks. I like the one that Lizzie just said, how it goes into the cottage as well. And I do like they're probably the easiest answer, but just the use of I'll Believe in Anything. How episode 3 starts off with that song, the Sunshine reference, and then using that song again, I think was really like the second that music came on, you're just like, you're like, you know what I mean? You're like, something, even if you didn't read the book, obviously, like the second that song started that you associate with Scott specifically, you're like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Like it's happening. Yeah.
It's Scott meeting Kip too. So it's like full circle from the beginning of their story to the end of their story.
So I feel like just that little musical callback, it was really, really important to their journey and it was immediately triggering. So that was cool.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, that was my answer as well. I mean, it was such a beautiful moment, and we get such little time with Scott and Kip. So for that like song to already be their theme, like in 1.5 episode or 1 episode in a couple minutes, like wow, that like it hit so well with the Sunshine reference. So it was incredible, and that was my answer. But also all the music that plays when Ilia is in Russia, like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like they made Toronto feel like the coldest, deepest, darkest part of Moscow. Like truly, like through lighting, through cinematography, through the
Set
music.
design.
Like
Through the music.
they did so great
Yeah.
with that. Like I truly felt icy cold, the icy cold of Putin's touch on my spine in that moment. Like truly,
the color grading.
yes,
like,
they did
really,
so good.
They really nailed it.
So good.
Okay, now the chaos scale. Where do we all fall? Katie, what is your scale rating?
If I understood the scale correctly, a 5 is like, oh my God, my heart is gonna explode from happiness and joy.
Yes.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's no limit. That's the chaos part.
Oh, cool. So I'm gonna rate this chaotic scale on 100 million bajillion.
Mhm.
For episode 5,
Right.
because literally so few things in my life have ever made me feel more or like
yeah, totally.
like there's only like 2 other show moments or things like that I can really like relate this to, as far as like I can't, oh my God, in like a happy way. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it 100 million bajillion
Nice.
on the chaos scale.
Valid.
Because just the way the episode ends is just how can you not walk away with just this feeling of just like joy and astonishment and just, I don't know, hope.
Yeah.
So
Joe?
I mean, girl, you really set me up for failure, Katie, because how do I go
you can't
100 million bajillion? Like truly, like where do I go from there? I'm gonna give it a
Lizzie
solid
knows.
you
go infinity.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it, but then I'm setting up Lizzie because where's she gonna go from there?
Okay.
She can't say infinity.
We can all agree.
We can all agree it's infinity.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. The heartometer was bursting off this. It seems, because truly, I don't think any show has ever made me feel any sort of intense emotion to this degree. Like especially this episode. Like if I was gonna rate another episode, maybe I would give it a 4 or 5. But this one, this is the emotional. I don't know, maybe 6.
Punch. Yeah.
This is an emotional punch in the throat. It truly is. The 6 is very similar in that it's like an emotional satisfaction. Like I felt so satisfied by episode 6, but this one was like the reverie, right? Like the celebration,
relief.
So it felt like the orgasm, whereas episode 6 is the coming down, the peace from the orgasm. This was it. This on a level of 1 to 5, I guess this is an explosive orgasm.
Yes,
that's how I would rate it.
Well, that's what happens when you probe for a whole episode.
Enough probing.
Explosive orgasm.
Enough probing, and you're gonna orgasm.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jacob Tierney.
Yes.
For making me orgasm.
Thank you, Jacob Tierney. And Jacob, we trust.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I understand the Heartstopometer, it's about like the level of intensity of positive emotions.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So like this episode delivers catharsis. It delivers joy. It delivers romance. Like the sheer giddiness of the hospital scene, like I giggling, kicking my feet, screaming at the skip kiss at the end, like screaming at coming to the cottage, like it's off the charts. Like it could not, like Joe said, like this is definitely the peak of the season. I'm gonna borrow Hudson Williams' terminology from the GQ friendship quiz and say plus 40 million.
Nice. I love
That's
it.
what I will say.
I wrote down a very specific 345,228,236. So
okay. So you can do math.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
To the D.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys for joining.
Thank you for having us.
It was so much fun to have
can't talk
y'all.
for 3 more hours.
We could.
Yeah,
we easily could though.
We will be.
But I need the 4 of you back on here when after Ashley and Joe watch Scum.
Yes.
Because this is the group I think I need for that.
Okay. I can do that.
We need to be there for this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's let everybody know where they can find y'all. Joe?
I am at Joe Regana on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me there, please.
Katie?
I am at KTCOPILOT, Katie Copilot, only Instagram. I don't do anything else. So find me. Find me.
Lizzie.
My store is at Culture Clash on Instagram, and my fan account is at Shane's Little Socks, because I love Shane's Little Socks. Mostly on Instagram. I have a Threads account. I have an X account under that, but I don't really use them. So
Yeah.
find me screaming on Instagram.
Nice. All right, I suppose that wraps us up for today. And in 2 weeks, we're coming to the cottage, baby. So we'll see you all then. If you want to follow us online, we are at YReCast on all platforms. And if you like this, please consider rating and reviewing us because it helps others find us. Until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.